Going to go ahead and reconvene from closed session. Reconvene from announcement, from actions taken in closed session, none. And we're going to start with G, student representatives.
Good evening, trustees, and our first representative is Arturo Hernandez from Aurora High School.
Is it not working? Working? And push again. Let me try this one. And, okay, here we go. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Arturo Hernandez, and I'm the representative of the student body of Aurora High School, and I will be reporting the activities that have been taking place as of May of 2017, and the activities that will be taking place further throughout the month, and as well as the month of June, since it's like we're only going to be here for like half of the month. Okay, on May 20th, Imperial Valley College gave students from Aurora the chance to walk around the IVC campus, get familiar with it for the ones that are going to be attending next year. Well, on the fall, actually, not next year. On Monday, actually this Monday, May 29th, it's going to be Memorial Day, so students will not be attending class. On June 3rd, Aurora High School will host a downtown cleanup. Students are going to be able to make up, I believe it's 4 hours worth of detentions or tardies or whatever they owe, and more basically they're going to be cleaning up on the streets of Calexico in the morning. It's going to be a 4 hours, pretty fun. On June 13th, our high school will have their annual ceremony, the graduation ceremony for this year's graduating seniors, the class of 2017. This year, the ceremony is going to be hosted it'll be located at the Varner Gym in the Calexico High School campus at 5 p.m. And starting June 19th, Aurora High School will be opening its campus for summer school, which will last until the 20th of July, if I'm not wrong. And, during that time, students who are still in Aurora may attend summer school to recover any missing credits. And that's it for today. Thank you.
Thank you, Arturo. From Calexico High School, Efraín Romero.
Good evening. I'm Efren, representing Calexico High School. For the month of May, many events have occurred. Staff breakfast was on May 12, where ASB made breakfast for Calexico High School staff to appreciate them. The very next day was special prom with the theme of Neverland. The outcome was spectacular. On the 18th, we had our final blood drive of the year, surpassing our goal. Last Saturday was prom, where CHS students enjoyed music and food. The results for prom king and queen were Angel Garcia and Alexandra Espinosa. The last day of this month is Locks of Love for those who are willing to donate a minimum of 8 inches to benefit cancer patients. And that is all that's happened this month. Thank you.
For the 9th grade campus, Julissa Ceseña. Okay. For Enrique Camarena, Camilo Garcia Jr.
Good evening, board members, Ms. Ambris, staff, and people in attendance. During the month of May, students were busy for 3 weeks with SBAC testing, and ASB made sure to have plenty new games for students that needed a much-needed break. This week, we're celebrating Higher Education Week. Monday was major, yeah. Students wore shirts that represented their major that they want to specialize in when attending university. Tuesday was Tacky Tours Day. Traveling takes money, so we need a good career to travel the world. Wednesday was Athletes versus Mathletes. Today was Career/Grad Day. We were able to wear a graduation hat. Friday is University Day. We will be able to wear our college gear. On Friday, we will also have a college signing day. Calexico High School seniors who receive a university scholarship will be going to our school during lunchtime. On Friday, incoming 7th grader students will be going to Enrique Camarena for an orientation. Ju- June will also be a busy month. We have finals on June 5th and 7th. Our 8th grade promotion will be held June 12th at 7 p.m. at Varner Gym at Calexico High School. We hope to see Ms. Ambris and our board members there. I want to wish everyone a wonderful summer and would like to thank Ms. Ambris, the school board, Mr. Romero, and my classmates for giving me the opportunity to represent my school during the school board meetings. Thank you.
Thank you.
From Willie Moreno, Johnny Valenzuela.
Good evening, teachers and staff. My name is Johnny Valenzuela, and today I will talk about the ASB events that have and will occur this month. Starting off the month, we had a parent picnic in which parents had a picnic with their kids and had a good time. Another event we had this month is occurring this week, and it is Spirit Week. First, we had Aztec Gear Day. On Tuesday, we had Jersey Day. On Wednesday, we had Hawaiian Luau Day. And on Thursday, we had Superhero Day. And finally, on Friday, we are having Color Wars Day, in which each Block 1 class picks a color and wears it that day. We also had on Tuesday and Wednesday classes on an incoming 7th grade boot camp from 3:15 to 4:30. We also have no classes on May 29th, 2017. For the upcoming events in June, we're having our promotion dance that will take place on June 9th. We're also having another event that will take place in June, which will be the 8th grade promotion ceremony, which will take place at Varner Gym, located at the junior high school at June 13th. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Go ahead and stay there. So Mr. Ciro Calderon will be presenting the certificates today. And the first ones will be Vidal Castañeda. Are your parents with you?
William Moreno's Jersey of the month is 8th grader Vidal Castañeda. Vidal is the son of Mari and Vidal Castañeda. He has one sibling, younger sister and fellow Aztec Isabella. Vidal's favorite classes are math and English. Some of his other favorite things include tacos de carne asada, the color hot pink, and Chevy Silverados. Vidal is thrilled with the honor of being chosen student of the month. He hopes to improve his GPA because he needs excellent grades in order to be a doctor or electrical engineer. He hopes to study at MIT or UCLA and one day visit the beautiful city of Barcelona, Spain. Vidal is thankful to his family for the support, and he hopes above all to lead a happy life. Dax wish you all the best, Vidal.
And the second student from William Moreno Junior High School, Cristian Vélez.
William Moreno's Jersey of the month is 8th grader Christian Velez. Christian is the son of Lisa Lopez and Mariano Velez III, and he has one younger sibling, his sister Paige. The best way to describe Christian is easygoing. He enjoys history class with Miss Patel, his favorite color is blue, and there's nothing more he enjoys than eating a nice big piece of steak. He enjoys music, but not a particular kind. He'll listen to anything. The one thing Christian feels he can improve on is his drawing skills. He wouldn't mind getting better at that. Christian's role model is his dad because he always encouraged him to do his best. He hopes to continue his higher education at UCLA and sneak in a visit to Hawaii at some point in the future. His goals are simple: graduate college, own a great car such as Armanda, and be a successful video game designer. That is our proud of you, Christian, and we are all confident of your dreams will come true. Thank you.
From Enrique Camarena, Janessa Contreras. Also, Camilo will read for Janessa Contreras.
Janessa Contreras is in 8th grade. Her parents are Sandra and Jesse Contreras. Janessa's hobbies are playing basketball and reading. Her favorite subject in school is Spanish. When she graduates, she would like to become a surgeon. She would like to thank her parents for pushing her to try her hardest in everything that she does.
The next student would be Julian Tovar.
Julian Tovar is in 8th grade. Julian Tovar is the son of Julio Tovar and Julia Benitez. Julian's hobbies are playing basketball, video games, hanging out with friends, and being with his family. His favorite subject in school is math. When he graduates, he wants to be an architect. Julian would like to thank his parents and other family members because they helped him when he was going through difficult times and they helped him get through it.
Thank you, Camilo, for reading the biographies. Do we have anybody to read the biographies for the 9th grade? Okay. Okay, we're gonna call up the Calexico High School first. So, Chexit Torres.
Chessie Torres began her education as a kindergarten student at Maines Elementary School. She also attended William Moreno Junior High before then enrolling at Calexico High School. Although her two 6th grade teachers, Ms. Marquez and Mr. Bowen, stand out in her mind in regard to having been a big influence on her. Chessie's favorite classes and teachers at Calexico High School have been her medical terminology class with Ms. Galindo and her AP biology with Mr. Lopez. As a student at Calexico High School, Chessie played on the varsity soccer team for 3 years, and she was involved with the APYL club. She has also participated in numerous classes, activities, and skits. Chessie states that her most memorable experiences at Calexico High School have been playing soccer and forming relationships with teachers who have taught her to move out of her comfort zone and test herself for the purpose of being above and beyond. Chessie has never earned a grade lower than A- at Calexico High School, and in senior class comprised of 660 students, she is currently ranked number 12. Chessie has been accepted to University of California, Davis, where she will be attending this fall, although once a Bulldog, always a Bulldog. As an Aggie, Chessie will be studying biological sciences so that she may go into the medical field to conduct research. She would like to thank her parents for never holding her back and for always providing support. Congratulations, Chessie.
And Efrain will now read the biography for Fabian Rubio Torres. Fabian, go ahead and read it.
Fabian Rubio Torres began his education in Calexico at Campesinos Unidos preschool. He was then a student at Dual School and Enrique Camarena before eventually arriving at Calexico High School. Fabian states that Ms. Osuna, his kindergarten teacher, made an enormous impact on him. As a student at Calexico High School, Fabian has been involved in the Eco Garden Club and the No Margins Club. He was also the president of the art club his 9th grade year, and he has been a writer, director, and actor with the CHS Theater Company every year since grade 10. As a student at Calexico High School, AP Psychology has been one of his favorite classes. Fabian plans on studying at IVC next year and then transferring to CSU LA, or CSU San Francisco, where he would like to major in an academic area that is related to art. Fabian would also like to move to New York City at some point in his life once he concludes his studies. Fabian would like to thank his parents for always being supportive and for the sacrifices they have made. He would also like to thank his theater teacher, Mr. Alvarado Chavarin, for motivating him to grow as an individual.
Okay, now we're going to call up the 9th grade students. Erika Velázquez Borboa. Erika is the daughter of Jose and Veronica Velázquez. She likes all subjects, but she feels science is the most phenomenal. She plans to attend San Diego State, go Aztecs. She plans to go into the medical field and become a neurologist. If she could make a change in the world, she would inspire others to be kind because it can truly change someone's day. Congratulations, Erika. Thank you. Also from the 9th grade, Josue Aguilar Martinez. Josue is the son of Crystal Martinez and Aurelio Antonio. His goal is to study medicine and his favorite subject is biology. He is dedicated to his academics at this time. If he could change the world, it would not be divided and everyone would be united. Congratulations, Josue. And Arturo? So Arturo will now read for Anissa Lucero from Aurora High School.
Actually, well, is she in here? I couldn't actually get a hold of her for the week, so I couldn't get an interview with her.
Okay.
So my bad. There's no
Thank
biology.
you.
Oh, she's I believe she's a senior. She's in my she's graduating. I believe in June.
Is she here? Are you here? No?
Are you? No, I don't think
Okay.
she is.
Well, she's a great student.
I didn't.
And also from Aurora High School, Isaia Buelna.
Oh, I do.
That one
I
you
do
have.
have one. I do have him. So, no, actually, he couldn't make it up for certain reasons. I talked to him before. So, anyways, Isaiah is currently he's a senior at Aurora High School, and he will graduate by June of 2017, right? So he's graduating this year, and Isaiah likes to exercise a lot after school by going out on daily runs and lifting weights. He's actually enrolled in the Imperial Valley College and is expected he's gonna attend the I believe fall classes. He actually wants to seek a career in the medical field. So after graduating from IVC, Isaiah plans to join the military as he seeks to become a much better person and learn many new skills. He plans to settle in San Diego, California, where he wants to get a job with the medical skills that he will have acquired by then through the teachings of the military, as well as his time spent in Imperial Valley College. From there, he wants to raise a family and hopefully just start building his life step by step. That's it.
Thank you, Arturo. And for the students who have bags in front of you, those were gifts from our board to you for in appreciation for your service as board representatives. And Camilo and Johnny actually went to the celebration, so they got theirs a couple weeks ago. So, but thank you. On behalf of our board, please accept a token of their appreciation. And because we're all about our cake here, shall we say about 5 minutes,
Yes.
Mr. Calderon?
Yes, 5 minutes.
5 minutes, and we have cake outside in honor of our student representatives and our student standouts. Thank you.
And we're going to go ahead and continue with our board meeting. Ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, we're going
Thank
to
you
go
very
ahead and get
much.
started.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going into I, comments from the public. The board will take any and all comments from the public related to an item on the agenda or any other item of district business that is not in the agenda. And we have several requests for oral communication. The first one will be Guadalupe Torres.
Hi, good evening. My name is Guadalupe Torres, and I'm here as a parent to support. Hello? Yes? Okay. Again, my name is Guadalupe Torres, and I'm here as a parent to support the teachers of Calexico in regards to the negotiation that is going on between the teachers of Calexico and the district. Well, as just right now, my daughter received a recognition for being Student of the Month. However, this wouldn't have been possible without, we wouldn't have been able to stand here today if it wasn't for the support, the dedication, and the trust that her teachers have put in her. Um, Personally, coming from a background of farm workers, my parents, they instilled in us, me and my sisters, um, the importance of education. And that is not possible without the teachers that we have. Um, and again, personally, I myself once wanted to become a teacher because I wanted to make a difference in a child's life. I feel my idea of that was that it was very important to be able to be part of that. I did work at Jefferson Elementary School as an instructional aid teacher for about 3 years when I was very young. So then I saw, I was involved in what it's like to be a teacher, what the life of a teacher is. And to me, it was, oh, well, I have my weekends off, I have summers off, and it will be good. I mean, being young and wanting to get a career, I thought, oh, well, that would be perfect. But it is not. Our teachers don't just work Monday through Fridays from 8 to 3. Our teachers dedicate more their time to dedicate to those students, to work on weekends to develop their student plans, to go on weekends to develop their classrooms so the teachers have that space for them to feel comfortable. So I saw that it is a big responsibility, and not only to provide the academic support, but also be having that open eye to see what's going on in the students' lives, what's going on in that child's life, especially right now that we're having a lot of things going on. So they have to have, it's not just being a teacher and teaching a subject. They take more of the responsibilities of getting to know those students, of getting to know their classes. And to me, that is priceless. That is priceless. And if I can be here today just bringing in this minimal support to our teachers, I'll do it gratefully and without a doubt. Because since in her biography, for my daughter, she has had, since her elementary years, she has had a lot of support from her teachers, and she still continues to have that. So I strongly support whatever it is, the benefits that will make it better for our teachers to have a better environment in their workplace, for them to continue to be here in Calexico. I'm a bulldog. I'm from here.
Torres,
Yes.
your time's up.
Okay. So, sorry, I didn't know that was for the time's up. It's my first time speaking here. So then again, I do support our teachers, and I'm just here to raise that voice and that support. Thank you.
Next is Manuel Yanes.
Good evening, board members. Good evening, everyone. I'm here on behalf of the World Down Syndrome Committee and on behalf of the Pies family. We would like to give you a recognition because the school district helped us a lot in the organization of the activities in the high school last March 21, 2017. And I would like to read the recognition for you. This certificate is presented to Calexico Unified School District in recognition of your support and contributions toward organizing the 2017 World Down Syndrome Day events in Calexico, California. Your support helped raise awareness of what Down syndrome is, what it means to have Down syndrome, and how people with Down syndrome play a vital role in our lives and communities, and help people with Down syndrome to speak up, be heard, and influence government policy and action to be fully included in the community. I want to add special thanks to Mr. Javier Gonzalez from Kennedy Gardens, and want to add thanks to Ms. Holloway from high school for her support. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Yanis. Sure, thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Next request is Sochi Flores. Sochi Flores.
Xochitl Flores?
Diana Guevara. Diana Guevara. Norma Sierra Galindo. You're welcome.
Good evening. Good evening, Madam Superintendent and gentlemen. This evening, I would like to mention to you that you're going to be approving the acceptance of a contribution for the robotics program for Mr. Garcia from Hell's Kitchen Engineering. We also, I want to say that I was the one that procured that money for that program, $500. And we also procured $500 from Z Global. I think you may have approved that the last time. These two engineering firms are not only interested in helping with monetary funds, but they are going to be working with Mr. Garcia's students in order to do some mentoring, because we need to grow our engineering capacities here. I would also like to mention to you that last year, Superintendent Ambriz and Principal Williams were privy to a ceremony where Z Global distributed over 30 computers, averaging $1,200 apiece, with all of the perks for students who were graduating and some juniors who were moving on. As a matter of fact, Shasid was a recipient of one of them. This year they will be doing the same thing. So we are looking at a substantial amount of money that Z Global is giving to our CTE department. And what I am asking at this point in time is that you will please consider acknowledging Z Global, just like you did Mr. Jimmy Abadi for the work that he did at our football field, because the monetary contributions are significant. We have one Calexico High School engineer who is now working for Z Global. And lastly, I want to leave you with the thought that all politics is local and everything is political. We did not get the Quest grant we requested, and the word has it that it is because of the controversy regarding our CTE department and IVROP. I will speak more to that later on. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next request, Judy Lopez.
Good evening, board members and audience. I would like to introduce myself. I'm the new pool secretary at Calexico High School, and I'm here to talk about that I just want to make a public statement. I have no knowledge on how to run a pool. I am not a pool manager, and I'm trying my very best. I'm trying my very best. If anything happens or anything goes wrong while I'm there, please take it into consideration that I'm trying my best and I have no knowledge whatsoever. The district placed me because they believe that I possess the skills and that I will do a very good job, but I really wanted to tell you that I'm trying my best because I really don't know how to run a pool. I was there, I don't have any training, and it just worries me. Now, if something goes wrong, I would not like to be liable of anything that happens. I am trying my very best, like I said, in helping to run the pool for the students and the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Next request, Maria Bravo.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Maria Bravo. My job title is Student Services Specialist at the Family Resource Center. I'm speaking here as a classified employee. Please be aware that whenever the district decides to do a reassignment on classified employees, that some positions have the same job classification or job title, but the duties are different, and they vary from one department to another. The secretary position at M&O is different from the secretary at the preschool. Another example, and I'm using this as an example, the assistant superintendent from business services duties are different those from the HR assistant superintendent or the educational services. They have the same title with the addition of the name of their department. The director of M&O, and I apologize to Mr. Jeremy, doesn't have the skills or expertise of the director of IT or that of the special ed director. The duties are not the same. Classifications share the same job title, but not necessarily the duties. A job classification study is needed and needs to be done. Positions vary from department to department. The same goes with the accounting assistant too. The one placed at the accounts payable duties are very different from the one at the high school. The impact of reassigning or swapping these employees is great on the district, and that's a negotiable item. Thank you.
Thank you. Next request, Chris De La Rosa.
Good evening, trustees. Can you hear me? And administration, Ms. Ambris. I'm gonna take this time to speak a little bit about the employees at maintenance operations. In recognition of the Classified School Employees Week, I'd like to address publicly the work of each and every employee under the umbrella of maintenance operations / transportation department. After a very challenging school year, in the beginning with multiple construction projects, to name a few, obstacles placed in the employees' way, working with little to no electricity at some sites during the summer to try to refurbish the schools, Rockwood School, Dual School, Calexico High School. While the ERP work was going on, those employees did a tremendous job of staying on task and getting the school ready on time. Aurora relocation and reconditioning from a dilapidated school site to making it the new home of the Aurora Eagles. Wardfield, the laser leveling with the help of Mr. Abadi and the resodding of Ward Field, as well as the additional landscapes, the dynamics of the construction and the football season rapidly approaching, the temporary bleachers, all of those details created a very, very challenging school year for our staff. So I'd like to take time, and I know I'm running out, Jesus. But I'd like to acknowledge the employees under our umbrella, so if you would bear with me, please. Javier Alvarado, recently retired plumber. Marilena Alvarado, special ed transportation attendant. Ricardo Apodaca, bus driver, warehouse delivery. Benedicto Aramburo, high school custodian. Felix Arce, high school site operations worker. Francisco Arenas, skilled maintenance worker. Gerardo Amendaris, grounds maintenance worker 1. Alejandro Arvizu, custodian, dual school. Luis Arvizu, site operation worker Willie Moreno. Vincent Ayala, carpenter, M&O. Gabriel Barrientos, high school custodian. Arturo Bernal, grounds maintenance worker Blanche Charles. Moses Bojorquez, skill maintenance, M&O. Juan Bustamante, M&O mechanic, bus driver. Benito Butron, Rockwood custodian. Ricardo Contreras, high school custodian. Alejo Cortez, Chavez custodian. If you'd allow me.
Go ahead.
Ana Cota, transportation attendant. Belen Donato, grounds worker, mains. Clarissa Espinosa, special ed transportation attendant. Laura Estrada, grounds maintenance worker. Pedro Ferrosquia, bus driver, warehouse delivery. René Fimbres, recently retired. Enrique Camarena, groundsman. Miguel Fregoso, Willie Moreno, custodian. Jorge Garcia, Cesar Chavez, site operation worker 2. Corina Gonzalez, bus driver. John Gonzalez, Cesar Chavez, custodian. Roseanne Gonzalez, special ed transportation aide. Luis Gonzalez, grounds maintenance worker, Rockwood. Jose de Jesus Gutierrez, Kennedy Gardens, grounds maintenance worker. David Hernandez, dual school senior custodian. Gabriel Herrera, skill maintenance, M&O. Hilda Iniguez, M&O, special ed transportation aide. Victor Jaime, Blanche Charles, custodian. Crisanto Juarez, locksmith, M&O. Victor Lara Jr., grounds maintenance worker, dual. Arturo Leal, Cesar Chavez, grounds maintenance worker 1. Manuel Leal, maintenance operations, bus driver, maintenance worker. Angel Lopez, Camarena, custodian. Judith Lopez, maintenance operations, secretary. Maricruz Lopez, bus driver, warehouse delivery. Victor Lopez, mechanic, M&O. Enrique Luquin, M&O / CHS custodian at the pool. Eric Majares, CHS 9 custodian. Jose Majares, KG senior custodian. Iliani Martinez, M&O inventory control specialist. Alberto Mendoza, CHS 9th grade custodian. Hector Miramon, CHS custodian. Angelberto Moncada, M&O HVAC tech. Armando Montoya, grounds maintenance worker 2, M&O. Macedonio Nájera, for the longest time alone, at Aurora, site operations worker. Francisco Navarro, skill maintenance worker, M&O, the pool. Maria Judy Noriega, inventory control specialist, M&O. Nancy Obeso, Jefferson, senior custodian. Manuel Ocampo, HVAC tech, M&O. Michael Ochoa, CHS athletic facilities worker. Juan Ortega, M&O bus driver. Alberto Ortiz, Blanche Charles senior custodian. Jaime Ortiz, CHS 9 site operation worker 2. Enrique Palacio, Enrique Camarena site operation worker 2. Jose Perez, M&O electrician. Emilio Piñon, plumber. Ramon Ponce, skill maintenance carpenter, M&O. Jose Quintero, longtime bus driver, warehouse delivery, M&O. Maricruz Ramirez, bus driver. Heriberto Rangel, recently retired, grounds maintenance worker. You'll be sorely missed. Javier Rascon, HVAC tech. Jesus Raya, recently retired, CHS. Carlos Rivera, Jefferson, grounds maintenance worker. Jaime Rodriguez, KG's custodian. Marco Rodriguez, Jefferson, custodian. Cesar Rodriguez, Rockwood senior custodian, 30 years. Susana Tapia, main school custodian. Vianney Rubio, administrative assistant, M&O. Francisco Ruiz, grounds maintenance worker, Willie Moreno. Victor Saldaña, M&O mechanic. Enoch Saldivar, CHS 9th custodian. Asaías Samano, Willie Moreno, custodian. Cesar Sanchez, CC/Jefferson, custodian. Eurofacio Santana, M&O bus driver, warehouse delivery. Sonia Torres, M&O special ed transportation attendant. Melina Trevino, special ed transportation agent, M&O. Janet Trucios, M&O special ed transportation agent. Jose Valadez, M&O HVAC tech. Pedro Valdez, senior custodian mains. Ramiro Valencia, CHS custodian. Jose Ventura, District Office Custodian. Arturo Vizcarra Burgos, Skill Maintenance. Michael Wilcox, Maintenance Electrician. And I'd also like to include Mr. Dario Espinosa, Jeremy Nielsen, the ladies from Personnel Commission, Ms. Esther Martinez, even Ms. Maya Randall, for they're such a big part of maintenance operations, wheels staying on the ground and keeping things moving. Every single one of those people, I know it's a long list and way over the 3 minutes, this is their week. If you see anybody with Memino, with the garnet polos or the gray shirts, tell them thank you for the service. Okay, thank you very much.
Next request, Franco Nunez. That's on what? Last but not least, you're gonna also wait for the item to come up, Ms. Norma Galindo?
Yes, please. Yes.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. We move on to J, consent agenda. Items appearing will be acted upon one motion without discussion unless any item is pulled for separate consideration and action.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second the motion. All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved by Romero, Calderon, Castillo, Alvarado, and Calderon Jr. Letter K, informational items. K1, Superintendent's Report.
Good evening, trustees and community. Well, as was mentioned earlier by our parent, there was a very serious incident that took place today at Calexico High School. Luckily, there were no injuries. Luckily, there was no threat, no serious threat to the school. There was an imitation firearm that was found in a classroom, and there had been a report to the police department that there was possibly a firearm on campus. Thank you to the assistance and the great response, immediate response from Calexico Police Department and the Calexico Border Patrol sector for working with our staff. We were able to, even though we were on a lockdown for well over an hour, we were able to indeed make sure that our students and our staff was safe. And I want to commend Calexico High School's administrative team, Mrs. Williams and her team, and our campus security, and all of our teachers and the rest of our staff for staying calm, for keeping the kids' safety first and foremost. And that's really what education and what our community is all about, taking care of our students and our staff first. So thank you to Calexico High School staff. And we did have a big crowd of community members outside. They were anxious, trying to find out more information. Obviously, whatever we can share is not always enough, especially when you're a parent and you're wondering whether or not your children are safe. Even myself, my child is a student at Calexico High School, and there's always that level of concern. But I know that my daughter was in good hands, and that's what I can share with our community, that our high school and our local law enforcement were responsive and took care of our students. As you can see, the bleachers are in full force coming in. We believe that they will be ready by no later than June the 7th. At least that's part of the meeting that was held this morning. Because I keep bothering Mr. Nielsen every morning, are we done yet? Are we done yet? Are we done yet? But they will be ready for graduation. Teachers and our classified staff, our certificated and classified staff, we've had a very busy month. So congratulations to our certificated staff for Teachers Day, and congratulations to our classified staff for for their classified week. Thank you for your service. We do appreciate you, and thank you for serving our community. From a teenage perspective, my daughter, I hear the prom was exciting, and so thank you, Calexico High School staff, for providing memorable opportunities and events for our students throughout. The pool is becoming an active place now, and so it will be hustling and bustling in the next few days and the next few weeks. So thank you to Ms. Lopez and everyone that will provide more memorable opportunities at the pool, the Margarita de Necochea Bulldog Aquatic Center. Next Monday is Memorial Day, and so we remember all of those who served and who were not able to come home, and we honor those that did come home, and thank you for your service. So thank you if you served in the military, or if you were a family member waiting for those who served to come home. And on a personal note, thank you for the boards and community support. I was honored to have been invited to San Diego State's commencement ceremony to be their commencement speaker a couple of weeks ago. It was a true honor, and just thank you, board, for allowing me to skip the board meeting that night. But I hope I represented you well. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Umbriz. Move on to K2, association comments, ACT.
Okay. Am I loud and clear? I'll try to keep it soft. Okay, good evening, Superintendent, Mrs. Ambriz, and board members. Tonight, once again, our president, ACT President James Taylor could not be here tonight, so I'm here, representing ACT, as vice president. Tonight, once again, on behalf of ACT President James Taylor and ACT members, I would like to discuss briefly our current status in regards to the ongoing negotiations between ACT and the district. At this present time, the district has finally decided to negotiate by offering a 4% salary increase to teachers. And before I continue, I wish Mrs. Torres, had stayed here so I could, let her know how appreciative, we are for her to be that voice of parents, to speak for, teachers, But I do want to acknowledge, and thank her, even though she's not here right now. But most of all, the negotiations that are going on at this moment, between ACT and the district, I want to focus on how this is a reflection of how teachers, are being valued, and what we can expect of new teachers for the coming years. What will the future hold for Calexico School District? Like I said, the district has finally decided to negotiate by offering a 4% salary increase to our teachers. As you recall, ACT had an initial proposal of 7.72%, which was to make up for the difference in cost of living increase, COLA, that we have yet to receive from prior years due to a past budget crisis. These were the extremely lean years. These were the years where teachers remained committed to their students, the years where teachers still gave their wholehearted dedicated to the profession they had embraced. But now we are living in different times. Now our district has a very healthy budget. In previous presentations by our president, James Taylor, you were able to see how we compare to other districts in the valley. In terms of salaries, teachers in other districts have been compensated very good with competitive salaries, but that somewhat puts our own salary to shame. This you were able to see again through Mr. Taylor's presentation. How many years in comparison we teachers here in Calexico have to work to equal the salary of a teacher in other districts. Even though Calexico has a very healthy budget, it is very evident that Calexico district does not see teachers as other districts do. It is evident that teachers are not a priority. It is still evident that teachers are not being valued. That teachers cannot boast of being part of a district that appreciates them, that validates their hard work and commitment through the years. And the second point I want to make here, so what does that mean for us as a future, for our students, for Calexico teachers? Well, it is quite clear that new teachers may not decide to make Calexico the district of their choice. It just takes looking at the salary scales, for you to see.
It is evident that Calexico in no way, shape, or form is providing these competitive salaries for new teachers to, just grab a hold of. They're not going to come running to our district, to fill those positions that are there. And, they can see, new teachers can see, that, even though we remain, faithful and committed to our district through the years, through these budget crises, years of lean and now in years of plenty, but we are not reaping the benefits of this hard work and dedication that we have given to our profession. New teachers see this. Yes, we have been known for great benefits, but that is not enough anymore. Other districts are being competitive in that area too. We can't even boast of that anymore. Our benefits are, the same and are being equaled by other districts. And talking about other districts, such as Brawley, Brawley right now, they've settled for an 8.5 increase over 2 years. That means their top salary starting will be $127,000 a year compared to, I think, our $93,000. That's $33,000 more, than we are making. And I'm giving you a rough estimate because I don't have the numbers memorized. So, what does that tell you? Where are they going to go? What does that mean for Calexico for the coming year? We have 21 positions in EdJoin right now. Half of those have been posted since February, and they have not been filled. A lot of those are high school positions where we need those specialized teachers to prepare our future. The students that are going to go and compete in universities, how are we going to do that? Who are we going to attract? What new teachers? What do you guys have to offer? It's not happening. These teachers are not going to be running to Calexico. But you know what? There's time to fix that. We're still in negotiations. The ball is in your court. What are you going to do about it? And that's the question that I leave with you tonight. Thank you very much.
All right, we'll go on with CSCA. Do we have anyone from CSCA? No? Thank you. K3, Insurance Committee.
Good evening, trustees. So happy to report we had our benefits health fair on May 23rd from 1 to 5 p.m. here in the district boardroom. And so we had a lot of our benefit providers here. So it was a great opportunity for our teachers to ask questions. We did have American Fidelity here. We had Anthem Blue Cross, Delta Dental, Reach Air Medical Services, SIMSA, VSP, among others. So again, it's a great opportunity for our members to ask those questions in regards to their benefits. Besides that, there was a lot of prizes that were won from a lot of our employees, including Fitbits and electric toothbrushes, a lot of gift cards, membership gift cards, sunglasses, and so it was a great turnout, and so we want to thank all of our members for showing up, and also like to thank the insurance committee, which we have both ACT and CSCA members that stand on it for their input, and huge shout out to Yvonne Ruiz in HR for being the person communicating in regards to the information regarding the health fair, and also Alberto for helping us out with all of our technology needs. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. ROP Committee.
Just want to report on one thing. We were presented with a $1,000 scholarship for one of our students, and it's going to be presented for senior night coming up, and that was handed over to Ms. Ambriz. That's it for right.
Thank you, Trustee Alvarado. K4, board reports. We'll start with Mr. Romero. Trustee Calderon.
Yeah, I got a couple of things. First of all, congratulations on Classified Week, and then to teachers on Teachers Day. Come on. And I'm just gonna piggyback a little bit on what happened today with Maria. Sometimes people will even call us. You can hear me? Can you hear me now? Okay. So sometimes people will call us and ask us what's going on with the schools and things like that. Just so you know, when and I don't know if Maria mentioned this, when there's a lockdown, the only communication that can be had is, if I'm not mistaken, is between the administrator on site and the police department or emergency services. Even if we call, even we board members, we cannot call the principal or anybody in that school. Well, if we call, they're not supposed to answer. The only people that they're supposed to answer, in this case, Ms. Williams, was the police chief or emergency services. Okay, so I apologize if sometimes we give the answer of what we don't know, but that's the truth. We don't know what's going on because we're not supposed to know what's going on. That's between administration and emergency services. Okay, I don't know if I don't know if I said this before, Mr. McFadden. Congratulations. Okay, so good luck on your plans after this. Also, I just want to remind Maria and the rest of the board that this is the time to start planning for next school year, and I'm talking about giving direction to M&O and to have ACs and everything else prepared in service. It's not a good thing. It's not a good thing when we get phone calls that the ACs are not working on the first day of school. Okay, and something I know if it has a working part, it will break down. It's not if, it's when it will break down. Okay, so but the more maintenance that we do, the better we will be better off in the end. So same thing with doing paintings and maintenance on the school grounds. This is the perfect time to start scheduling those services so things are ready for the first day of school. So for right now, that's it, and have a good evening and rest of the week. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Calderon. Trustee Castillo.
Yeah. Couple quick things. It's the end of the school year for our students and our school sites. It's also a busy time with a lot of things happening. We know that, we see that, and many times you guys are busy, I know, taking care of the kids and the activities and the facilities and everything that's happening, whether it be your parent meetings, school site council, your LCAP meetings, coffee with parents or stuff. There's a ton of things going on right now, and also preparing for closeout and your promotions, graduations, busy time. And we see that, we recognize everything that's happening, that's shared with us, so many times we may not be able to be at all the events, but we know what's happening and we're kept informed, and we hope to be at many of them as well. With that said, I did have a chance to go to, I think, the band banquet about 2 weeks ago Friday. Very nice event, good programs, showing the talents, and our program there. Other one, again, was we had a chance to also participate in the retirement employee recognition about a week ago. And again, to honor those that are retiring, that have provided services to our district over the years, recognize the many years of service employees have offered and given to our district. So again, we thank our certificate and classified employees for that. Along lines with CSEA, or Classified Employees Week, again, big congratulations. We recognize teachers on California Teachers Day about 2 weeks ago. Now it's CSEA Classifieds Week. So again, thank you for all your hard work and dedication. And I'll leave it at that.
Thank you, Trustee Castillo. Trustee Alvarado.
There it is. I just want to thank M&O, their employees, for everything that they do here at the district. Also want to thank teachers for everything you guys do, administration also as well. Just because we don't say it doesn't mean that we don't appreciate you guys. We do appreciate the hard work that you guys all do here in the district. With that said, just like Mr. Castillo hit, just with what happened, the incident that happened today, we need to slow down, just be more observant out there. We're not saying that it could be prevented by slowing down, but it's a big factor. Just be observant of the surrounding areas, what's coming, stuff like that. Never know what could happen. Other than that, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys very much for everything.
Thank you, Trustee Alvarado. The only comment I have is that with everything that's been happening in this district, my only advice would be if you see something, say something. And I think this is what happened today, and that's good. So, and you'll see some items on the agenda that we're trying to improve our security at our high schools, and which is very important, not only to us, but most importantly to our children that are attending these schools. Thank you. We go on to K5, Caldwell winners in presentation regarding final results on Measure V insurance and Measure J refinancing or refunding.
Good evening. Hello. Testing. Okay. Good evening, trustees. I'm going to present to you Miguel from Caldwell Floors and Winters to do a final presentation as required by the law in regards to our Measure V bonds and the refinancing of the Measure J bonds. And Miguel.
Good evening, trustees. Thank you for the opportunity to address you tonight. As Ms. Randall mentioned, this is pretty much the last piece required here as we put the sale of the bonds to bed. I think over the last couple of months, there's been a lot of information that's come to the board. Certainly you're aware the sales themselves have concluded, but this final piece has to do with some final requirements, particularly in terms of the proceeds that were generated from the bond sale and then the costs associated with those as well. Okay. As we go through the presentation here, I'll start off with the overall goals for financing. As you're aware, Measure V passed in November 2016 with very strong support from the community. Part of the measure had authorized $45 million to be used for facilities improvements across the district. And as part of the first sale of bonds, we had set out a goal to issue what we call the first series of bonds, and we had estimated that to be at approximately $23 million. And so those $23 million would have provided the first funding through the first phase of funding, and that the $23 million essentially was a combination of what we saw was going to be the allowable debt capacity for the district, given some projection of tax rates that were estimated to voters at the time of the election. The target tax rate was $60 per 100,000 of assessed value. And together with that, we had structured the bonds in a way that we would be able to garner those proceeds, set that tax rate using the lowest cost bonds, which was what we refer to as current interest bonds. So the last piece having to do with that is that in terms of how we would use the $23 million, we would try to generate some additional proceeds to cover all the costs to maximize the amount of dollars that would become available for projects. That covers the Measure V bonds in terms of overall targets. Separately, concurrently, we had also established some goals for refinancing prior bonds that were sold under Measure J. And here our goals were pretty simple: to look back at the old bonds and see how the interest rate market was today so that we could restate the interest rates and lower the overall cost of debt service on those bonds. Those savings would be transferred directly onto the community, to the taxpayers and their benefits, and so in doing so, we would attempt to get as much savings as possible, right? By lowering that interest rate as much as possible. So those were our goals that we set out to meet. As you're aware, the financing really has a number of parts associated with it. The three major components. One is that it involved some board actions. We brought legal documents for the board's consideration that were approved. successfully, which then authorizes to move forward with a credit or a rating of the district. And so that was the second piece. The third piece really had to do with the actual sale. And then so we were able to successfully complete each one of those three components, both for the Measure J as well as the Measure V as well as the Measure J refinancing. And we did so in about 60 to 90 days, which is a typical time frame and calendar for each one of those. I mentioned the credit as being one of the requirements for the sale of the bonds. Here, I think in the past I gave a general synopsis as to the results of that credit rating review for the district. Here, I think just to revisit those. Some of the feedback that was provided from Standard & Poor's, the rating agency that looked at the district, noted that the district had strong available fund balances, recognizing that the district for some time in the past had been spending and its budget had been drawing down significantly. I think they recognize that now you've achieved a point where there is some relative stability. And so they definitely credited the fiscal prudence of the district to put away some dollars to account for unforeseen circumstances. Also, they recognize that the district has a growing tax base, as noted by the increases in assessed valuation. And then the third piece that they recognize had to do with the increased enrollment. And certainly, I think those, as you recognize, has to do with the growth in the community and how that then leads to some matriculation in classrooms here at your various schools. The rating was offset by some other components, and those other components had to do just with the local economy and agriculture and also sort of the dynamics given certain demographics of the community. And so they looked at the unemployment rates as well as some of the wealth levels as being low relatively to the county and statewide and federal averages. And so those are things that are certainly beyond your control, but I think those are the things that for their assessment, they look at the district's ability to repay the debt and certainly what the debt means in terms of overall debt burden to the community. So as a whole, I think you can look at that table there to the right to put the rating assessment in context. The results came out with a rating that is in the upper medium grade level, and so that is equal to what we refer to as an A category. And so in here you'll see that the scale goes from AAA to AA to single A, and so those are our credit-worthy grades. And so we are very happy with the rating. Going forward, we're going to continue to do our best to make sure that we reinforce that rating, and certainly where possible that we continue to affect those things that we can, such as your fund balances and continuing a healthy reserve, as well as the growing tax base and such, that we highlight those to Standard & Poor's so that we can get a better rating if possible. As you know, the better the rating, that's very much like your personal credit rating. The better the rating, the lower your interest rate. The lower the interest rate, the less it will cost to service these bonds. Now, we get into the actual sale of the bonds, and here you'll see the results of the sale of the Measure V bonds. We refer to them as the Series 2017A bonds. And so we were able to sell approximately $23.4 million in bonds. And that was, as I mentioned before, was done so using a structure that it was all current interest bonds. Those are the lowest cost bonds. And to put a sort of a measure on what we were able to lock in terms of an interest rate, we look at what's referred to as the true interest cost, or otherwise an average interest rate. So that if you look at a 30-year financing, we were able to establish a 3.98% rate of financing. I think by analogy, you can look at a 30-year mortgage. It's a very different borrowing instrument, but nonetheless, we kind of know, at least anecdotally, that given the market, those happen to be in the 4.25% to 4.5%. And so the current trend in the interest rate market is that they continue to push up and up. And so having locked that in at sub 4%, I think for us was a very good thing. And so if we look at the total repayment of those bonds, state law says that the district should pay no more than $4 for every $1 it borrows. And here we were able to come in substantially better than that at about $1.89 for every $1 borrowed. And there again, kind of putting it in context, your typical sort of commercial loan or so, it's within that time frame. Obviously, an entirely different type of borrowing instrument here, but certainly I think we're happy to have been able to lock in those bonds at a low rate, which means that's more dollars for our district, less of a cost for our taxpayers. And so, in terms of the use of those proceeds, I mentioned earlier that we were going to generate some additional funds to be able to cover some expense components. Here we generated about $3,000. Exactly, it was $297,000 in premium. Premium is very much like when you generate a point on a mortgage. So that you'll take out on a point, you get additional proceeds upon closing so that you can use those proceeds to cover your costs, your escrow costs, your title costs, and such. And so in this case, we use those dollars specifically to fund the debt service cost to pay the interest from the time that we sold the bonds to the point that those dollars would be collected by the treasurer's office from the taxpayers in order to make the payments on those bonds. Okay, and so you'll see there that that deposit was noted under the use of funds under debt service fund. And so lastly, the transaction expenses. We incurred some transaction expenses here in cost of issuance at approximately $191,000 with $191,950, and that pretty much constituted all-in costs for consultants, rating agency, printing, any and all expenses, you name it. There was a contingency of $4,300, and that reverts back to the county to be used as a credit against the bond costs. So at closing, all in all, once you factor everything out, essentially we end up with about $23 million, $23,043,732 in our project fund to be used for our facilities needs. Okay. When we look at some of the key statistics for the refinancing, for Measure J, we see that we sold approximately $8.7 million in refunding bonds. That also included a portion of premium bonds, which I explained earlier. In this case, the premium was $697,000 for total funding of $9.3 million. Now, how we use those $9.3 million, the majority of that was deposited into an escrow fund. The escrow fund is irrevocable so that it's locked in and specifically designated for the repayment of the old bonds. And so we put it in an account at a fixed date. It goes away so that at this point, the old bonds become basically defeased. What is defeased? It's just dead, right? And so it's a technical and legal financial defeasance on behalf of the district so that there's no additional liability to the debt owners, or I should say to the bondholders. And so in this case, they're off the district's books because they sit in that trust. And so the other piece associated with the use of funds has to do with the costs of issuance. Here, the cost of issuance was approximately $133,000, and so that was paid out of premium. And so all in all, we were able to bring in the costs significantly lower. I think you may recall one of the presentations earlier, we talked about the benefit of doing the concurrent financing of the Measure V along with the Measure J bonds so that we wouldn't have to pay twice, say for the rating and such, okay? So you'll see that there was a lower cost of issuance there. The benefit being that if we're not paying expenses, we're taking the savings for taxpayers. So as we look at the...
One quick question.
Yes.
I assume it's a typo on the final maturity. It says 2046. It should have been 2033. 16 years only.
That is absolutely right. 16 years, absolutely. That's a carryover from the last page.
So the maturity is going to be 2033 then?
That's correct. 2033, August 1st, 2033. Thank you. As we look at the summary of the refunding results, if we look at how much bonds were sold, the amount that was repaid, if we look at page 6 here, and you'll see that the total amount of bonds sold for repayment was at about $8.7 million. The interest rate assigned to that was 2.91%. By comparison, the bonds that were repaid, the old bonds, was about $9 million, and those carried an interest rate of 4.34. So again, we were able to substantially reduce the existing interest rate to a new rate, therefore coming up with total savings of over $1.1 million. And so for us, certainly I think, a lot of the work of the staff, the assistant superintendents, working with us diligently to ready the bonds to come to market at an opportune time. I think when we first presented this opportunity to the district, we were looking at savings in the ballpark of about $700,000. And given the interest rate movements at 1.3, they were even as low as $500,000. Certainly, we don't know what's happening out there in the market, but again, it was part chance, and they say opportunity, how does it go? It's success is part preparation as well as chance, and so I think in this case, the preparation went a long, long way. Congratulations on that. We're very happy with the amount of our overall savings. When you look at the total reduction in debt, it's close to 10% that we were able to reduce our costs. Okay. So in terms of next steps, I mentioned we had been presenting here to the board for some time. We're going to go away. You're not going to see much of me, but certainly I'm going to be available to the district and to the staff so that we're going to be working in the background, providing any and all analysis to inform your decision making as you plan projects, as you spend them down, and certainly looking to see what's happening in your tax base, as well as your fiscal health with your financials and such, so that we can continue to feed information to Wall Street, the credit rating agencies, and bondholders and such. So we're always available as a resource. Please call on us. Thank you. Pleasure. Congratulations.
Miguel, I have some questions.
Yes.
Measure V bonds are at 3.98, correct, for 30 years?
That's correct.
Yeah. And you mentioned our credit rate was A. So why so high of an interest rate? Because it was almost as high as the Measure Vs when they first purchased those bonds.
Sure. It has to do with the current market, with the overall length of the repayment. So it's about a 30-year length. And so when I mentioned the average, some of those bonds carried say a 4% plus, and other bonds carried a 0.5% interest rate. And so it's a blended rate, okay. But if you were to look at the rating, I think you can say that the A rating is somewhere in the ballpark of a 700 credit score or so, and so we believe that it's a very strong rating and certainly a good interest rate. To put it in context, I think other districts that had previously sold bonds at around that time in the area and statewide, we were able to beat their interest rates in some respects, and so we were happy with the results of that.
You mentioned right now that we're not going to be seeing a lot of you because this is one of the final steps. Well, I think I have a different opinion on that. These people that are here, they may be interested in knowing where is it that their money is going to, and what is it that money is doing, not just for them, but for us, for our kids. So it would be nice if you were here every couple of months to give us a briefing, 5 minutes, and let us know how we're doing. And if not, just to tell us, well, nothing new, but we're doing good. It's not just our money; it's their money.
Just tell us to leave us a blank check, and you can go.
Yeah.
So you can start construction.
I will hold that to heart. Thank you very much.
Yes.
We welcome that. Yes, I'm
Yes.
happy to be here whenever you need.
We'll feed you cake and everything if you come. Okay.
Coffee,
okay.
Thank you.
So
Okay.
Miguel, those 23 million are ready to be spent.
Yeah. They are available, indeed, yes.
All right, thank you, Miguel.
Thank you.
Trustees, any other questions, concerns?
You have a chance, can you send me a debt service schedule, please, for both issues?
Will do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miguel. We move on to discussion possible action. L1, account payable pre-list brought back as an action item. Okay, I'll go ahead and start with this one. It was brought back a couple of meetings ago, or at least last meeting, where this was brought before, and we tabled the item. I've since have done some research, and I'm not going to go into the boring and how a requisition becomes a purchase order, and et cetera. But based on my research, I found out that it's not going to hinder our process as far as purchasing and so forth. Someone mentioned that what's going to happen when their air conditioner breaks down. Well, emergencies are normally stipulated in the resolution, where if such an emergency takes place, the board will have a resolution and someone will be able to go get an air conditioner and et cetera for anything else. And as far as reoccurring expenditures like the IID, our insurance, and everything else that comes with the district also would be part of the resolution. And those accounts would be paid automatically. With that said, I believe that the action or the pre-list should go on the action item, and we should know and be able to say or approve or disapprove any requests from district staff.
Would this be for a trial period, or what are we looking at?
I was, in my research, I discovered that this was done approximately for 2 years, and it went well without a flaw. So I don't know how, it was converted before I came on board. So it's been done, and it has worked. So we're here. It is, as stewards of public funds, I think we're responsible for public funds, and we should know where this money is going to.
We could try it for a semester, and come back in November, December, and if we see if there are any problems, then talk about it, and then let's see what the problem is and what the solution could be. And if it needs to go, and if we see that there's no problems, or if they see that we don't need this anymore, then we could go back to the way that it was. But I concur with you that we did it for 2 years. Regardless of the reason why we did it for 2 years, it was done for 2 years, and it kept a lot of we met all of our obligations. Like you said before, recurring bills like IID, the water, and emergency items. Let's say, for example, AC breaks down, or we have a leakage on a weekend, and we have to call Roto-Rooter or whoever. That wouldn't need our approval. So I agree with you on that part. And if we want to say that let's go back and revise it in November, December, I would agree to that.
So let me ask a question. So it's coming back to us, and we're talking about it, and I heard we don't know why it happened in the past, but is there a problem happening right now with the system, the procedures? Why is it coming back to us? Or why is it on the agenda? That's what I'm curious about. Is there a problem right now?
Well, there's been some expenditures that I wasn't aware of. And I think we as board members should be aware of what's going on in our district. I mean, that's why we were voted in here. So that's why I believe that we should know.
So we get the list already, right?
Yeah, but that has already been approved and spent.
I'm just wondering, is there a problem or a concern happening?
Well,
I mean, is there a problem that we're discussing, trying to resolve it, I think?
Well, I think that there is not a problem. Well, let me put it this way. I believe there is a problem.
That's what I'm trying to find out.
Yes.
What's the issue right now?
And I think with the explanation, it doesn't affect the process. I mean, we have protocols for emergencies and so forth. That would only give us an overview of what's going on in the district, whether it's a conference that our staff are attending or buying equipment because it's the end of the year and we're just buying equipment. I don't want to spend or overspend on items that we don't need when we should be buying books that have now been, and other things, what I'm saying, educational things that we're not just spending our money because we have to spend this money.
So that's the problem happening right now.
Well, that's what I've been here for 2 years, and I think that's the observation I have.
Yeah.
I mean, we got other needs. We have a lot of needs at our high school and so forth. So,
I feel we're getting the information now. We're getting the reports. We've got opportunities, and I haven't seen any concerns to date, at least. And I heard it started maybe 2 years ago. I heard, but we weren't sure why.
Well, when I came in 2012, this was the way that it was done, and everything was revised, not revised. Everything was looked by us, and if we had any questions, we would pull it aside and then talk about that expenditure. Okay. Again, I need to remind everybody that we are responsible for the fiscal progress or regress of our district. So by the time that we get this list, this is just for our viewing. They already spent the money. Regardless whether it is for better or for worse, we need to make sure that we have control of what is it that we're spending. Maria still has some say in what is it that she can and she can't approve. Okay, so emergency service or emergency items. So let's say, like I said, for example, during the weekend, if something happens, she can direct whoever she wants to direct and go buy stuff at a Concentro or Lowe's or whatever the case may be. However, we are at the end. We are responsible for this for these expenditures, and for us, and it's just my personal opinion. For me, just to have it here, just for me to see, but not be able to say anything. Why? Because it's already been spent. Conferences that they go and they spend. I don't remember approving some of these conferences. If they already spend the money, they're already going.
So I'm wondering, I'm just trying to understand the history.
No.
So when you started, it was in place,
Yes.
and then the board removed it?
Yes, we removed it probably like a year, maybe a year and a half ago, Lorenzo? Something like
I
that?
wasn't here.
No?
It was before my.
Yeah.
It was before my time.
It was more than 2 years
But-
ago.
Yeah. Were you here as a trustee?
I was here. I don't remember. Honestly, I don't remember. But if you want to, if you want me to be honest with you, yes, I do see some. I do have some problems with the way that the money, their money is being spent. Okay, and I don't want to put anybody. This is not the place or the time to put somebody on the block here. But I do see some problems, and instead of having to come back later and have to talk about why is it that we spend so much money or why is it that we're on the red, I'd rather do it right now, and do it right.
So you do see a problem then?
I do see a problem with it, yes, and I don't want to say what it is or how is it that the money's being misspent, if it's being misspent, but I don't want to get to that point. That's my point. I don't want to get to that point. So I just want to make sure that we have not control, but a say in how is it that our money is being spent. Again, Maria is our liaison, if I may call it that way. It's our liaison here, and it's our eyes and ears on the ground. So, but I want to make sure that when people go and buy and use taxpayers' money to buy whatever it is that they want to buy, that they take in consideration that it's not just their money to get spent, that they need to be accountable for the money that they're going to spend.
So there is items right now that are questionable then?
That I've seen, I was looking at a couple of pre-lists, yes. So, but again, I don't want to get into that right now. But I do have some concerns. Do I feel that there are things that that could be spent a little bit better? Yes, and that's my point. Okay, I'm not saying that somebody is doing something wrong, but I said a better way of spending our money, or their money, better said, not our money, their money.
And I'll go as far as, maybe it's just my stubbornness, where when I'm told you can't do it, then I'll normally research it. And the problem is, I was told we couldn't do this because it was going to stop the district completely, that teachers were not going to be able to travel and this and that, and that's not true. So I know there's a little more work, but it's been done before. So with that said, I think that we are responsible. We're in negotiations. I mean, we got a lot ahead of us, and we need to watch every cent that we have.
And I would agree, yeah, being fiscally responsible. But I'm wondering again, I guess from the district's perspective, what impacts does this have for us? From the district's perspective.
I was told that there was a lot of impact, and when I did my research, it's really not much. We just got to adjust our protocols, and like I said, I don't want to bore you with a requisition and
I'm familiar
purchase
with that,
order
yeah.
and the funding and all that. I mean, I can tell you, you want to discuss it, I can tell you, but what I'm saying is that it can be done, and I think it would just we would be able to sleep better at night.
Just a question. So I'm just wondering, so from start to end, from requesting
30 days.
Requesting PT travel to attend or purchase.
Normally, all our purchase orders are paid within 30 days. At least that's our protocol. And again, emergencies, if they arise, Maria has $200,000 that she could spend on the spot.
In board resolution.
Well, that's what it is. So money we have. We got to take care of our money. That's what I'm saying. But I put it on the table and leave it at that. Maybe we can have coffee and discuss it. I don't really want to hang out our clothes out here, but I think I've said enough, and just.
If it was done 2 years ago, I'll support it. I'll make a motion with the condition that it be for 6 months only, on a trial basis.
Or revision. To have a revision in 6 months. To whether
For it to be reviewed, and if it fails, then we go back to the current system.
And I'll admit it, we failed, and I'll tell the public we failed, and we're going back. I have no problem with that. But if it works, we're going to continue it, correct? As long as we're here.
A motion to continue
Yes.
it.
Okay, all right, yeah, of course.
But if less than 6 months, if we see that's really, really failing, then I think we need to bring it back.
Yes, obviously, yeah. Mark the date.
Maria has a question.
I mean, I don't know if 6 months is enough. I might just hinder the process. So, I mean, I'm not the expert in how. I know there's payments that are done monthly, so I don't know if 6 months is.
So are there going to be a stipulation stating that bills are recurring bills?
Oh, most definitely. It's a resolution.
Is that going to be part of this, that those would be excluded from?
Yeah, because they got to go out.
Okay, but the wording would be said in that fashion then?
Yeah, I mean, I can even go as far as if students need to travel, put on the resolution, let them go. I have no problem with that.
Maria has a question.
Okay. I defer to the board's authority and to the board's wisdom in their decisions. I do want to just let the board know that we may have additional holdups, for lack of a better word at this point. Just this week, I signed a lot of reimbursements for teachers. There are some teachers that have used $250. I signed reimbursements for $300 and some dollars because they are having projects, etc. They have rewards going for their students, and so they do the pizza parties or different activities for their students, motivational activities. If we, for example, if I'll use Mrs. Torres, if Mrs. Torres submitted a reimbursement form this week, I could get her reimbursement by next week on our current system. And the reason remembers because I did sign one for you this week. Okay. If through this system, I wouldn't be able to do that unless I'm going to have authority to authorize all teacher or all staff reimbursements for, and it's through the student ASB accounts, I understand, but these are some of the things that would be held up for until the June meeting. So she'd have to wait, an additional 3 weeks to get that reimbursement. So I just want us to, I'd like for the board to, at minimum, if this is the will of the board to go to having the pre-list before you ahead of time, that there be some sort of concessions, because I don't want to be holding up somebody's reimbursement when they did it with the interest of student rewards, etc. Just for consideration. Because then you will be getting the calls. Mrs. Torres is going to say, okay, Mr. Calderon, I want my reimbursement. And so you're going to be fielding a different set of concerns. So I just want there to be some sort of consideration for that.
And I'm sure there will be, because I get the calls from my kids when they're asking for their check. But so what I'm saying is that, just personally, I think we have to start somewhere. As I said, we're in negotiations. We've got a lot ahead of us.
And I do. And just so that, for the record, because I know that Mr. Alvarado asked earlier, and I'm not sure if I think I heard the question in Mr. Castillo's statements of why this system occurred and then it was taken away. I believe that when this system was put in place, it was the way it is now many years ago. And then it was put in place when this district was on the verge of fiscal insolvency, where we had FICMAT people at our district, where we had a fiscal oversight person assigned to our district, and at the time that was part of what the county superintendent of the time had mandated for this district. Since then, the fiscal picture is significantly different. We have been in a positive certification and a positive budget for over 3 years, and that is why we were able to remove that requirement. There are pluses to doing it this way, the way that you're proposing, and there are also hang-ups. But I do encourage the board to recognize the fiscal picture that this district was in 5 years ago, 4 years ago, and where we are today. And that's all I'd like to say.
Well, Maria, so if things did not get to the point of where they are right now, we wouldn't be talking about this. Okay, since you brought up the subject as to why, and this is we're doing good in that. I wish people would have been as interested in the subject. Well, I wish the principal would have been as interested when people were complaining about some schools not having the alarms working in some of the trailers. Okay, it's been going on at Duo for 2 years. Nothing was done. People wouldn't put in their request, but because there's nobody looking at what is it that's being done or not, because this is we're just rubber stamping the pre-list. That's why it wasn't done. Okay, so you brought it up. So you want an answer? This is why. Okay, because we need to get back on track on what is it that we need to get done. and this is a starting point as to why is it that I want this done. And I will second the motion for Mr. Romero to bring back the pre-list for approval.
For what?
Yeah,
6
but
months?
first of all, there's got to be exceptions, like
Okay.
like
Oh,
Ms.
yeah,
Solis
that's a
said.
resolution. That's the
Okay.
procedure. At least my research indicated
Okay,
that.
so
We make a list, we have Maria make a list for us, and we give her the blessing to say, you can deal with these situations
okay,
as
so
they
we could
come.
so we could say, okay, we're going to experiment with this for 6 months, and we're going to resolution that has exception, correct? And now you will send that to Ms. Ambris.
Yeah, we as a
Okay.
board will give her the authorization.
On a trial basis, then I'll make that motion, because I want to see if it works or not. But there's got to be exceptions, and we'll come back with a resolution, and which will be given to the superintendent.
So is the motion to come back with something for the board to look at? You said a resolution for the board to look at and consider?
Well, I think that's gonna be a separate item.
Yeah,
correct?
that's a separate
That's a
item.
separate item.
Okay.
So the resolution is to,
What's the
Bring
motion?
what's on the table right now is to bring the pre-list back on action, on
Right.
action item.
exactly, but there's got to be an addendum.
Yes, sir.
To,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes.
If that's the case, I'm willing to experiment with it for at least 6 months. And if it doesn't work, then it's off the table. We go back to the way it is right now.
Yeah, I mean, we just gotta sign these, I mean, of course, ask questions about the purchase orders and so forth, if they have their
Yeah.
information, and get them
Maybe
through.
just to move on with this and to,
Yeah, well, hold on, before, Mr. Trustee Romero, we have a request for oral communication, so,
okay.
on this item.
Okay.
So can we have Fabiola Calderon come up?
Hi, good evening. My name is Fabiola Calderon, and I am here before you, Board Trustee, as a former accounts payable clerk. And I would just like to give you my 2 cents as someone with experience in the accounts payable department. It's to my understanding, I'm no longer in accounts payable, but I do understand that right now you are each provided with a copy of the pre-list on Tuesdays. Every Tuesday, we finalize a pre-list, is sent to the county, and we receive the checks from the county 2 days after on Thursdays. And it's to my understanding that each of you get a copy of that pre-list, so you get a chance to review it Tuesday all the way through Thursday morning. And if there's anything on there that doesn't sound right, that doesn't look right, you do have the opportunity to contact the business department, Ms. McGillian or Caroline or Ms. Randall, and we can always hold that check and not send it to whoever it was made out to until everything is clarified. And I think that's a really good method. Now, yes, I understand that by then it's all been spent, but there is that opportunity to hold that check and just clarify and make sure that everything was done the way it was supposed to be done before releasing the actual check. Now, I've only been here for 2 years, and it's always been this way. The pre-list has always been handled this way. I wasn't here when it was handled the other way, the way it's being proposed. But if I'm trying to figure out how that would work, and I believe that if the pre-list is brought back for approval, everything had been spent as well, just like it is provided to you on Tuesday. So all the payments are entered, and the pre-list is brought to the board meeting, and everything has already taken place. The people have already traveled. We already have the invoices. We already have the items that were purchased. So it's kind of the same thing as what's being done on Tuesdays, but it would be done on a monthly basis. I believe that that's the way that it would work if it would be brought back the way it was before. So those are just things to consider. And my last input is if there's something that you may be having an issue with, I would suggest that that be resolved separately and not drag the pre-list, the entire pre-list, because of one issue that is going on. So I would suggest that you attack that one issue that's going on, which I don't know what it is, but it sounds like it's one issue. So maybe attack that one issue and not bring down the entire pre-list. So that is my input. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Calderon. All right, so the
So,
motion.
just before the motion, before you vote, there's just more questions for me and I think information that I need, because this just came to us, it's on the agenda today for discussion and action. I think for me, I just there's more questions and more information that I feel I need before taking some action here, because we've only been talking about this for a few minutes.
Well, we've had this item on the
It came
last-
back to us, yeah. But there's still a lot more questions and concerns that are coming up that I think need to be addressed or answered, in my opinion.
I think we should take our time on it. Again, we took our time last time. We tabled it last time.
So, Mr. President, there is a motion on the floor.
Yeah, there is.
So go ahead.
a motion. The motion to put the agenda on the action item for 6 months, correct? With stipulations, I guess, of a resolution as to items giving Maria authorization that she can deal with them on hand. Correct?
Correct.
It was a motion by Romero, second by Calderon. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So motion is approved. Those in favor are Romero, Calderon, Calderon Jr., and those opposed is Castillo and Alvarado. Thank you. We go on to L2, Resource Officer for reinstituted at Calexico, to be reinstituted to Calexico High, Junior High, and Junior High. I guess this item speaks for itself based on what happened today. I brought this item along with Maria and some of our board members, where in the past also we had an officer that was assigned to the Calexico High School and also to the two officers, as a matter of fact. They were assigned to the campus from, 7 to 3? Well, during school hours. And based on what's been happening in our school district and the concern from the community, from the last board member, we met with, at least I met with the city manager in Calexico. And they're willing to look into and see if we can get another officer on our campus. Before we had requested, but because what the city of Calexico was going through and the shortage of officers, they weren't able to provide that officer. So I'd like to somehow give instruction to Maria, if we're all in agreement, that we follow through with this and see if we can get an officer during school hours.
So one, two,
I would say, I'm asking for one, but if you're willing to go two, I don't think the city can afford two, based on the fact that they just had some recent hires. They're finally up to full staffing, and I don't think they can afford two. So I'd like to start with one, and we can later on.
Did it give you a time frame? How long does it take?
Well, it depends on if we give Maria the authorization to start the process. It shouldn't take that long. I mean, he told me that they have 5 or 6 officers showing up soon at the Calexico, and they'll be fully staffed. And they're willing to talk to us and get an officer.
And they already show up when we need them. They already
yes.
show up, so they might as well get paid because they are on our campuses all the time.
So I would agree. I know that SROs can do more than just show up. When there's an emergency, they do a lot of things during the day.
They do a lot of things.
I think their presence at our campus will be significant, where they're there.
So
And if
you say
something
one
happens-
or two?
So I
said
think
one.
direction, to explore the issue, explore the item, come back to the board with information for 1 or 2, what the cost might be, but also looking at the city, they're still organizing. I think their department getting that, in sound shape. That we still have those concerns, but come back to us with maybe information.
Well, I think Trustee Castillo, it benefits them because we can use them during the day, and the city can use them after hours, in the weekends, holidays, when that officer's not working with us. So it kind of benefits them. So
They go to our sports events.
Well, they work regular hours too, but I know, yeah, I work with an SRO, you know, at my school too. So I know the benefits, I realize that, and they do get pulled out too.
Oh, yeah,
You know, when
most
there's
definitely.
emergencies,
Yeah.
they need to get pulled out, so.
Yeah.
But I think it is a benefit, something to explore.
Okay, so is the board in agreements to give
Yes,
Maria?
I think one.
Were there any other comments?
One?
Yes.
One.
The
Oh.
high school is all center at one.
He didn't-
High school.
Oh, well, in the past, we always had two, so.
Just, let's go with
I
one.
don't know
then.
if it's gonna happen.
Yes, Mr. Moreno.
Members of the board, Madam Superintendent, I think we would need at least two, because we have a lot of issues on the west side of town, now that we've included Aurora High School and the junior high. And we had a recent issue just a month or two ago in that area where there was another lockdown. And I think they're a big role that the SROs play is that of a counselor, not necessarily as a bad cop, you know, as they say, good cop, bad cop. But I would seriously ask you to consider the approval of perhaps two. One that would go with the 9th grade Dianza and Camarena. And if you're gonna go to junior highs, you've got 3,000 kids at the high school. So, and then you've got the other side of town that has another 1,200, 1,300 students. So I'd like to see two if you're gonna go with
Yeah, 'cause
this.
if it's one, it's a deep point away from.
Yeah, 'cause
I brought that up last time, last meeting was two. We were comfortable with two SROs instead of one.
I'd like to see two.
Thank you.
Oh,
Okay,
ask for
we'll-
two,
we'll
ask.
Shoot for two, but I am
Explore one or
guaranteed,
two.
they're
Ask.
guaranteed me one, so. Because they just fully staffed their department, like Mr. Alvarado was saying earlier. They're barely getting their program going and their organization, so.
So it sounds like there's some direction, if there's any other comment.
Okay, any comment?
I'd like to see,
So
I know
we're-
you said one, but
We'd like
if
to
we
direct
we
one
can
to
have
two,
two,
so we can start negotiating with Armando Villa and see what it would require.
Come back with information.
And, all right.
How soon can we
Yes.
come back with that information?
I will, I'm hoping to have that for that the first June meeting.
All right.
No later than the second one.
If not, are we going to look somewhere else? Possibly look
Sure.
for the sheriff?
We can talk about it at that time.
Yeah. All right. Okay. All right, thank you. We go on to M, action items, consideration and action approval of the following items. M1, agreement between Calexico Unified School District and Fresno County for cyber high courses.
I'll move to approve.
Moved by Calderon,
I'll second.
second by Castillo. All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item passes. In agreement is Romero, Calderon, Castillo, and Alvarado, Calderon Jr. M2, agreement between Calexico Unified School District and Tamarity, this is moving, and to provide professional development service to implement Superhero Academy during summer.
Yeah, I'll move to approve.
Move. Second by, motion by Alvarado, second by,
No, motion by Calderon.
Calderon.
I'm sorry,
Alvarado.
let me get this.
Motion
Heavy
by
problem.
trustee Calderon.
Motion by trustee Calderon, second by Alvarado. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Motion is approved by Romero, Calderon, Castillo, Alvarado, and Calderon Jr. Let me get this going. Where? Because this went out again. Okay, agreement between Calexico Unified School District and Rock and Roll Academy to provide curriculum and professional development for summer enrichment program at Willie Moreno Junior High. I motion to approve.
Second.
Second by Alvarado. All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved by Romero, Calderon, Castillo, Alvarado, and Calderon Jr. And 4, service agreement between Calexico Unified School District and Mindset Works, Inc. for professional development services for district-wide teachers.
Is there, how are you gonna get the teachers? Are they going to volunteer or?
This is for our October Professional Development Day, you know, when we have,
Oh.
so it would be district-wide and
District,
it
okay.
would be part of the program.
Okay.
Second.
Moved by Alvarado, second by Calderon. All those in favor?
Castillo.
No,
Moved
Castillo.
by Castillo.
Yes.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion item approved by Romero, Calderon, Castillo, Alvarado, and Calderon Jr. And 5, agreement between Calexico Unified School District and Renaissance Learning for software subscription from June 1st, 2017 through July 31st, 2018. Any questions, trustees?
I move to approve.
Moved by Calderon, second by Calderon Jr. All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item approved by Romero, Calderon, Castillo, Alvarado, and Calderon Jr. M6, agreement between Calexico Unified School District and ICOE, Calexico Academy School for Food Services, fiscal year 2017 to 2018.
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, slow. Okay, Romero moves, second by Alvarado. All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item approved by Romero, Calderon, Castillo, Alvarado, and Calderon Jr. M7, amendment to a current agreement with After School Unlimited for professional development services to provided to extended learning program staff. I motion to approve.
Second.
Second by Alvarado. All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item approved by Romero, Calderon, Castillo, Alvarado, and Calderon Jr. And 8, agreement extension between Termac and Calexico Unified School District for integrated pest management service for fiscal year 2017 through 2018. I move to approve.
I'll second.
Second by Calderon. All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion or item passes by being approved by Romero, Calderon, Castillo, and Alvarado, Calderon Jr. M9, contract between Calexico Unified School District and Renaissance Learning for professional development services for certificated staff members. I motion to approve.
Second.
Second by Alvarado. All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item passes, approved by Romero, Calderon, Castillo, and Alvarado, and Calderon Jr. M10, memorandum of understanding between Calexico Unified School District, Imperial County Office of Education and Data Sharing Service.
So moved.
Moved by Romero,
I'll second.
second by Calderon. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item passes. Romero, Calderon, Castillo, Alvarado, and Calderon Jr. M11, memorandum of understanding between Calexico Unified School District and the Imperial County Office of Education on junior high grades 7 through 8, California Social Studies framework in effect immediately through June 30th, 2018.
I'll make a motion, and I'll mix it up for you.
Motion by
I'll make a
Castillo.
motion to approve M11 and M13.
And 13?
M13.
Okay.
But we're not.
Motion to approve M11 and 13. M13 is memorandum of understanding between Calexico Unified School District and Imperial County Office of Education for professional development for high school teachers, CHS, ASU, AU, grades 9 through 12 on California Social Studies framework. Second by Alvarado. All those in favor, please state aye. Aye. So motion is, or item is approved. M12, memorandum of understanding between Calexico Unified School District and Consulado de Mexico in Calexico to provide plaza comunitarias to parents to improve family literacy.
I'll move to approve.
Motion by Calderon, second by Calderon Jr. All those-
Discussion, quick question. So we're paying, again, I just want to clarify, paying the tutors through assets?
That is-
And my question is that an allowable expense?
That is correct. It is an allowable expense. I did check with Mrs. Huerta Price, who's our coordinator. She ran it through CDE, the Division for After-School Programs. And they have I believe Calexico High School received a $20,000 additional grant within their program to do family and parent literacy so that the parents can better support their students academically. And it is a parent component, so therefore it is allowable.
So again, it's funded through assets, not ACES? Or?
Assets is the high school program, and that is the one that receives the family literacy additional funding. ACES doesn't.
So I'm just looking at the agenda item. It says funding is ACES, not assets.
Oh, I have it under assets.
Sorry.
No, it says right here, ACES.
It should be assets. My
So
mistake.
maybe motion with that clarification. I just want to make sure that's, it
Yeah,
says ACES.
it says ACES, not assets.
So that's my question, allowable expense.
Oh,
Assets,
okay.
I understand, ACES.
Yeah, ACES, it's not an allowable expense. Assets, it is an allowable expense. That was a mistake.
Assets, which is high school.
Just clarification on that.
Ms.
Castillo?
No.
Was it
Mr.
Castillo?
Romero.
Calderon?
Yeah, but so
With
the motion
Okay.
needs to reflect.
Just to
that
correct
that there's a
the
there's
discrepancy?
a mistake in the way that it was written. There's supposed to be assets, which is going to
Okay, the funding,
The
that is.
funding.
Okay.
Is going to be assets, not
You know,
ACES.
just a kind of, IVROP provides this training also.
The plazas comunitarias?
While they work with parents and families and so forth, so.
Yes, and I think we need to work with other, I know APE offers some parent classes as well, and I think
Yes.
it would be to the benefit of the district if we could all just work together and
Uh-huh.
see where we're doubling up on services so that we don't, and we can offer more options for parents.
Okay, thank you, Ms. All right, so, all those in favor, please state aye.
Aye. Who's second?
Yes.
I moved, so I don't know.
So, second?
With that.
Second by Alvarado. All those in favor, please state aye. Aye.
Aye.
Item passes. N14, Memorandum of Understanding between Calexico Unified School District and Imperial County Office of Education for Professional Development for grades 6 through 12 with the focus of writing instruction. I motion to approve.
Second.
Second by Castillo. All those in favor, please state aye.
Mr. Romero.
Why do I keep
Hold on.
calling you? Maybe we should move. That's 14 and 14. All right. All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item is approved by Romero, Calderon, Castillo, Alvarado, and Calderon Jr. M15, Memorandum of Understanding between Calexico Unified School District and Imperial County Office of Education for Professional Development for sixth grade junior high teachers on CANGSS phenomenal-based lessons.
So I'll make a motion again, M15, M16.
Motion by Castillo.
M15 and M16.
And 16? 16 is M16, Memorandum of Understanding between Calexico Unified School District and Imperial County Office of Education for Professional Development for CHS and Aurora teachers on CANGSS phenomenon-based lessons. Second by Alvarado. All those in favor, please state aye. Aye.
Aye.
Item passes, approved by Romero, Calderon, Castillo, Alvarado, and Calderon Jr. M17, Memorandum of Understanding between Calexico Unified School District and Imperial County of Education for AmeriCorps Borderline Programs 2017-2018 funding year.
So moved.
I just, hold on, can someone tell me what this is for? Or
Yes, the AmeriCorps is a group that comes out of ICOE, and what they do is they provide tutoring or tutors that come into the schools. And so we would have to do a match, and at this point, it's $12,122 per member, so we're asking for 9 for different schools, and it comes out of Title I funding, and it's basically a college-aged college student who offers tutorial, and it's a full-time job for them. As they Yes.
Okay.
Sure.
They also come, I have an AmeriCorps, they come into your classroom and they work with 3 of your students that you identify that have needs, and they work on a one-on-one basis, and they also provide, at times, tutoring, homework support after school. That's what they do with us.
Thank you.
Mr. President, did we vote on this already?
No.
Okay.
So who, motion by, was that Romero or Castillo? Romero, motion, second by Alvarado. All those in favor, please state aye. Aye.
Mr.
Item
President,
passes.
can we take a quick break before we go to item M18?
Okay, 5 minutes. 5-minute break. We're going to take a 5-minute break, Mr. Calderon. Back from his break. Well, you got to blame it on someone. All right, let's go ahead. Before we go on to M18, we have two requests for oral communication, and we have the first one is Ms. Norma Galindo. Or, okay, Franco Nunez. Oh, I'm sorry, you're right.
Hello? Test? Yeah. Okay, good afternoon, trustees, Ms. Ambris, and the community. Um, First of all, I'm going to throw out a number. Just keep it in mind, 888. It's not my lucky number, but just keep that in mind, 888, okay? So this year I was voted by the department, or correct, CTE. I am the department chair. And I'll be honest, at the beginning of the year, I didn't know what was going on. So I started doing my homework. Can you blame me? That's what we tell our students, right? Do your homework, do your investigation. So back in September, I started researching. I started doing my homework. And yes, I started asking questions. Maybe the wrong questions, maybe the correct question. There is no dumb question, right? So when we got to the point of the services that the agenda, right, whatever you're going to vote on, is what are they doing, right? So then I started talking to our department. They're like, absolutely nothing. So back in, I believe November, the department, we actually wrote a letter. We went through the chain of commands. It got to the higher beings, basically. Did it get to you guys? I'm not sure, but we went through the chain of commands, right? Come March, MOA is up for renewal. Oh, and that letter basically said, just don't renew the services. So come March 23rd, I believe, I was here as a spokesperson. And again, don't think that it's me against anyone. I'm just a spokesperson, right? As a department lead, I'm here. Department said, no. Why are we spending all this money? That day, I asked for the Board of Trustees to just table it. You know, do your homework as well. You guys tabled it, which kudos, you know, thank you. That's all I asked. Do your homework, right? Next day, and I can show proof. Next day, I got an email from Juan Campos. And I'm not sure if this is appropriate or this is the way politics work, but I don't do politics. It's black or white. There's no gray area. Never been to one of our meetings. Says, Mr. Nunez, I would like you to meet with Mr. Edwin Oberfeld. I've never met the gentleman, and he's in charge. Never met in my life. We'd like to take you out to a restaurant. We'd like, at your choice, to discuss the issues. Never been to one of our meetings, and I actually have all the sign-in sheets. We would like to discuss the issues regarding your concerns with this MOA. Never met these gentlemen, except for Mr. Campos a couple of times, but never been to one of our meetings. Yes? I found it very inappropriate. I forwarded it to the department. I couldn't even respond. I felt so offended. How can someone invite me to dinner, and I don't even know you, to discuss this issue? Never been to one of our meetings. Let me reiterate that. 2 weeks ago, again, it's on the agenda. What happens? We show up, the entire department, saying we don't need them. It didn't pass. We're here today, again, voting for something that we don't need. Now, that number I said before my time is up, 888, that's how much the district is going to pay ROP per school day. $888 per school day. That is equivalent to $159,000. And 3 years, that's close to $500,000. Okay? And I know my time is up, but when I open my door every day and I see my kids, I am the voice for those kids. That money is not going to go to me. It's not going to go for any one of our department. It's our kids' monies, because why? It's not paid out of Title I. It's not paid out of grants. This is general budget. And let me maybe do a recommendation to the board. With those $160,000, can't we, per se, hire a resource officer? I leave you with that. Thank you.
Next, oral communication, Norma Galindo.
Madam Superintendent, Mr. President, and board members, in my knowledge of public meetings, I'm aware that we are given a certain amount of time, but I'm also aware that I reserve the right to ask for an extension of the 3 minutes. I think I need maybe a minute or two more, and I would like for you to indulge and allow me that. So if you would please do that. It has also been my experience that whenever documents are going to be presented to the board, the protocol is to present the documents to the attorney. And being that there is no attorney, I would like to take the opportunity to present the documents to the chairman of the board at your discretion, to share with the rest of the board.
Thank you.
And what I would like to do at this time is I would like to ask that this document be incorporated into the record. I would like to preface by saying that I'm a probationary teacher, which means I may be dismissed at any time. After having been a tenured teacher for over 10 years, as a result of whatever relationship ROP has or doesn't have with the district, I am now a probationary teacher, which makes my job very difficult, sometimes from an emotional perspective. I would also like to make note that ROP is inconspicuous by its absence at this meeting. And my understanding is that there was no need for them to be here because this decision is in the bag, and I quote them. So what I would like to do at this moment is I would like to read a document, and I would like to have this incorporated into the record. Dear Superintendent Ambriz and gentlemen of the board, we, the CTE department, write this message specifically thanking trustees Calderon and Romero for respecting the recommendation of the department by having voted against the memorandum of understanding between the district and Imperial Irrigation, oh, what a Freudian slip, Imperial Valley ROP during a past meeting. At the same time, we are respectfully asking trustees Calderon Jr., Castillo, and Alvarado to please vote no tonight. All of you are persons of integrity. We know that. And we trust that you take your fiduciary responsibility to the taxpayers quite seriously, as explained more than once today by trustee Calderon Jr. So please explain to me and to the audience and teachers that are present how you can justify the following. Upon the conclusion, $159,868 to be paid to Imperial Valley ROP for 180 days of school instruction per year for 3 consecutive years, totaling $479,604, which is almost $500,000. This breaks down to $888 per day for 6 classes per day for 1 school year. This, in turn, translates into $148 per hour for services that are already being rendered by the teachers of the department. And the person who, I'm sorry? I'm getting to that, I think. And the person who will be delivering the services, who is known as a guidance technician, is paid in the vicinity of $12 per hour. Yet, we are wondering how we are going to order new textbooks mandated by the articulation agreement that Calexico High School did, not IVROP, and is in the process of doing other articulation agreements with other colleges, not with the help of IVROP, between Imperial Valley College and the district, along with other needed services and supplies. During the previous meeting, when IVROP presented via PowerPoint, we took copious notes of everything they claim to do and say they will do in attempts to reconcile their statements with their services. We truly regret to say that the only activities that they carried out in some of our classrooms this past year were career locker, which we're all trained to do as teachers, and some course evaluations. All other activities have been embedded in our curricula, and we perform each and every one of them throughout the year without the assistance of anyone. This is a perfect example of duplication of services, something we as teachers try very hard to avoid. We leave you with this thought. There was a time when Imperial Valley ROP benefited our district monetarily and provided academic support and guidance to the CTE teachers. However, once the governor implemented the local county funding formula, commonly known as LCFF, in the year 2013, things changed quite drastically. The state of California diverted the funds directly to the districts, so we no longer receive any ADA or any monetary compensation from IVROP. On the contrary, we're turning the tables. At the same time, when this occurred, we lost leadership and support that were provided up until that time. There was also a change in administration. It is our understanding that one of you, three gentlemen that are slated to vote yes, was a recipient of an IVROP scholarship, and therefore you feel that this is a reason enough to vote yes on this memorandum. Whereas we applaud your loyalty, we cannot help but question your dedication to the department and the students that you are presently serving. As for the other two trustees, we cannot, try as we may, make any sense out of your support for this memorandum of understanding, except that there are political reasons involved. And if this is the case, we all know that this is going to be doing the wrong thing for the wrong reasons. After today's event, and having children in my classroom, several diabetics that need to go to the restroom, and thinking about Southwest High School that has a bathroom in every classroom, I thought that with $500,000 we could probably procure bathrooms for each one of our classrooms. I also thought that perhaps we could have a more effective camera system for security. But more importantly, I would really like to see some of that money be redirected so that we can deliver our services to Aurora High School. Please, I will sit here with the rest of my colleagues. I would very much like to hear why you are voting yes, so that I may try to discern and be in agreement with you. I thank you for your time. My respects to you.
Thank you. Thank you. M18, Memorandum of Understanding between Calexico Unified School District and IVROP for Core Career Technical Education, CTE, Supported Service. Do you have any questions, trustees? Or
I have a question. The MOA says the item on the agenda is for 1 year, but the MOA says 3 years. And then we're kind of stuck because in order to cancel this contract, we have to notify them by January 31st. So we're stuck for this year, for the year 2017. Is that correct? I'm looking at item number 3, termination.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah. No, at this point, we don't have a memorandum for them for next year. This year's basically it's done. So this is for the next 3 years.
Okay, so we're not.
Yeah, no, we're not bound to them at this point. The other part, when we talk about the 1 year versus the 3 years,
Right.
and part of the ongoing conversations, and one of was that we do, if we were to continue this, that we, instead of committing to 3 years, that we be allowed to just do 1 year.
At a
And then
time.
if at the end of the year,
Okay.
it didn't work out. So
That's
this would
fine.
need to be obviously redone.
Right.
But that we would only do 1 year, and if at the end of the year we're still not satisfied, then we are going to respectfully bow out completely.
Well, as the last time on the agenda, we was on the agenda, I moved that we reject this thing. I respect the teachers as to what they know what's needed. And I cannot understand what services are being provided by IVRP. I may be ignorant, but at this point in time, I move that we reject this agreement with IVRP.
And I will second that with a comment.
Go ahead.
You know, I've been on the IVRP board before. I know what they do, and I know their work. So I've been on that side too. Okay. However, when I have a toothache, I go to the dentist. When I need something welded in my house, I hire a welder. For my ROP classes, if there's somebody that knows what needs to be done in the classroom and what needs to be done and what is it that they need, I'm gonna ask them. Okay, so I concur with Mr. Romero. If they feel that this is not working anymore, and as much as I like ROP because I like ROP, but if the teachers are telling me that they don't see a use, they haven't used it, and there's no recorded gains from having ROP in our campuses or in our campus, again, I'm gonna also vote no on this MOU.
So rejecting the agreement with IVRP it was motion by Romero, second by Calderon. All
Yes,
for
I did for discussion.
Is there any other information since our last meeting?
Yeah, there's.
Last meeting to be shared?
This is information, background. It was shared with the.
From the district, anything else?
Hold on, he needs to say it.
Yes, there was. This is it.
Okay.
So I don't know if you want to read it. You got it?
Yeah.
You got it?
Okay.
Okay, you got it? Go ahead, Nunez.
This is the part that I forgot. I'm sorry. I just want to clarify something. I know Mr. Calderon had a couple of questions last time that you voted on this and I wasn't here. This wasn't a voluntary thing, and I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not putting words in anybody or throwing anyone under the bus. This was basically saying, if this passes, and the first thing we said was Mr. Jaime, the other department chair from the past, is saying, you want that lawnmower? And we're like, I don't even have a lawn. Let's say you had a lawn. What would you like? And I'm like, we don't want it. I have no purpose for it. Let's say it goes through. What would you like to see? So obviously, this is what we said. But the first thing and foremost, we're like, we don't want it. We don't need it. We're doing it. Let's say you buy a house and your family. You're going to say, can we clean it? And we say, well, yeah, let's try it. But what this is saying is, let's say you had outside help. And we're going to say, well, if we can clean it, why are we going to spend money where other funds can be allocated? So this thing you're seeing is somewhat misconstrued. Okay, this is like a wish list, hypothetically. But the first thing I said, we don't want this. So I want to clarify that. We never agreed to this. This is like hypothetical, if it went through. This is like a wish list, right? If it went through. Second, and I'm sorry I'm nervous, but this is something that it hits hard, right? Because if you break it down monetarily, 5 minutes of their service is equivalent to what a field worker works for in an hour. My parents are field workers. So when you say, I'm going to pay you $10 for 5 minutes of your services, when that money can go to my kids, that hurts, personally. Okay? I grew up in this school. I went through Rockwood, Blanche Charles, I went through all the system. So when you say you're going to spend $888 a school day, where's that money going to? They send a technician, they pay her $120. Let's say hypothetical. Where are the other $700 going on that day? Now multiply it by 180. We're not including minimum days, finals. I'm just saying school days. And again, I want to reiterate, this is a wish list that we basically didn't want. That's what I want you to understand. This is not like, oh, yes, this is what we want. No. This is a wish list that, under the circumstances, that we were put into. Okay? And this is not a voluntary thing, and I'm sorry, but that's the truth. Thank you.
I know we're not.
Okay, so again, I'm very transparent. I'm going to say it like it is. I was called into a meeting to go over some scheduling, right, some pathways with my other colleague, because we were department chairs last year and the current, right? We get to the meeting, and district personnel was there, and, oh, you know what? Do we mind if we talk about this because it's on the agenda? And we're like, not again. Then it came up again. We're like, let's say if it goes through, and that's where it started. And we were like, wait, we thought we were going to talk about something else, the pathways. That's what we were there attending originally. How did it come to this? Coincidence? I don't know. And I'm not throwing anyone under the bus, but that's how it was. This was not a voluntary meeting. I mean, yes, I could have left off, but you know what? Out of professional courtesy, you know, saying, you know what? If you had the if you had to deal with them another year, because that's how they presented it now. If this went through the board, what would you like to see? And we're like, not our RVOP, not them for sure. Hypothetically, and I understand, you know, I'm not putting words in people's mouth, but this is, you know, the rule. What would you like? And I'm like, well, this is what we need. Are they going to provide it? Probably not. They haven't provided in the last 3 years. Like I reiterate, the gentleman I don't even know who the superintendent is. I've never met the gentleman until I saw him that last meeting. I'm like, oh, that's who it is? Never been to any of the open houses. Never been to any of the field trips that we've gone. We've gone to Riverside. We've gone to San Bernardino. We've been to San Diego. Do you think they showed up? Zero. So when I got that email that next day, I was like, wow. I don't know if it's politics, if that's how it works, but I thought it was very inappropriate. Again, if the teachers are telling you we don't need this, we don't need it. And what I'm saying, and this is the last thing I'm going to say, I'm sorry. If you're so adamant about giving ROP another year, why don't you give us that year? Why don't you invest in us this 1 year? $160,000. And just like they or some of you are very adamant about giving them an extra year, why don't you give it to us? If we need that help, and I'll come here and I'll say, you know what? We need ROP. We need help. And some of you that have been in law enforcement, like Mr. Davies, Mr. Camarillo, who was a correctional officer at PD, when do you call for backup? When you need help. We're saying we can handle this. So why, I'm sorry, it's without sounding too disrespectful, like why are we pushing it down our throats when we are saying we don't need that backup? We don't need that help. Unless I don't know what ROP is doing, but I'm sorry, it's plain truth. And my name is Franco, yes I am. I'm very frank. Thank you.
Ms. Galindo, has Edwin ever been to your classroom?
Yes. They go when I'm not there, and they did career locker, which I had already done, and they did, without my notifying me, they did course evaluations with the students. They also purport to do teacher observations, which we've mentioned to our union, particularly because the person who has gone in and observed this has never been in the classroom herself. Other than that, they drop off paperwork, they pick up paperwork. And let me just say that for us being the school that we are, It's embarrassing that they give us only one scholarship, given the work that we do. Our program has 19 Gate scholars, and to get one scholarship, when Raleigh gets 23 of them, do the math.
Thank you.
And another thing, some of the services that we have had, even though it's through ROP, there really is a Quest grant that we wrote. They were just the LEA on that. So ROP should not get credit for that.
So the motion is
To reject. this
to reject
contract.
from Romero, second by Calderon.
Just one clarification, this is a MOU for 1 year?
It could be for 1 year if that's,
Is that, is it 1 year or 3 years?
well, you can make it,
Oh, it has,
yeah. It could be 1 through 3.
The way, the MOA, the way it's drafted says 3 years.
Okay, well, it could still be. I mean, if we were to decide a year. I do have a comment on this. I was also part of the IVROP, and since we're giving, what ifs and so forth, I'm going to just give you a scenario where I know that someone came knocking at your door, and that door was never answered many times. And I'll tell you because when I was a member of the IVROP, I would attend the meetings that IVROP would have. And not once did I see any of you, or at least one, I think it was Ms. Nunez or there, but there was no attendance in these meetings. And I know if we go further on, I know that in Brawley, they have a law enforcement academy that when the kids go through it 4 years and they graduate, they can actually go work for our sheriffs. And we can't do that in Calexico.
We don't have
Well, hold on. I understand that, but they have it in Brawley. And there's other CTEs that are offered that actually give our students jobs right away. And I've seen it. I was in the board for 2 years, and I've seen it where I guess the cooperation wasn't there. And I mean, it's really hard that when you just don't want the service. I mean, IVRP has been here for many years, and all of a sudden, everybody's opposed to it. I mean, what happened to the years before? And I know some of you that are sitting here, IVRP helped you get credentialed and everything to work for us. Some of you. And I mean, that's where I stand as far as this item. 3 years, maybe not 3 years, but we can't just. I mean, so the motion was to reject IVROP, and it was motion by Romero and second by Calderon. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Zero.
I said-
Motion.
Okay, I said aye.
You said aye?
Yeah.
Okay. Castillo? No. Alvarado? No. Calderon? No. Any other motions? Well, I do want a motion that we give them 1 year. And we have an expectation for them that if they don't meet the expectation, that we terminate the agreement.
I'll second that.
Second by Alvarado.
With discussion.
For discussion?
Mr. Alvarado? With discussion? Okay. If there's 5 of us, and 5 of us have an opinion, and I will respect your opinion on this, and of course. However, I would like to, if this is the way that it's going to go, which is I see that's the way that it will go, then I would like to have results in writing. How many kids they serve, how many kids they've seen, how, or what is it, how many times they show up to the classrooms. Okay, from now until November, if this goes through. Because again, I'm not going to, ROP has done, in Mr. Calderon, Mr. President, yes, in the past, ROP did wonderful things, yes, and I'm a witness of that. However, I think what we hear now is that it's not happening anymore. So if this is the way that it's going to go, then I want proof. I want to see results of what I said that they're doing, and not just getting the money so they can pay all their overhead and staffing. That's all that I ask. If this is going to go the way that it's going to go, so be it. However, I'm going to ask for results by November. And if not, then I'll be making a motion in December not to cut the funding for the next school year. Again. That's how.
Well, this is only for a year anyway, so.
Yeah.
This contract
Yes,
is only
but we
for a
have to
year.
do it by December.
No.
Well, that I read, no?
One school year.
Oh, okay, all right, so,
Yeah,
but anyway, but I want
next
results, yes, okay, but I want results.
At this point, I believe that you have the ground to establish this MOU with your conditions. So, I mean, December doesn't have to be do you understand what I'm saying? Because if you as a board, wish to change this to a 1 year, which is well within your right to do so, you could also set when you say we're done or not.
Who made the motion to, or has anybody made the motion already?
I made the motion.
Is it for
To
just
give
1
a
year?
1
or-
year.
A 1 year?
With the expectation that
Okay, yeah,
they,
and writing
In
and
writing.
proof.
Along the same lines, what we consider is a monthly report of the activity provided. And that be included in the motion.
Call for the question.
I'll second that.
No, I mean, there's a
No,
motion.
I had to,
Yeah.
no, I had to second your
Oh, you
call for
do?
the question,
I never
yes.
heard of that.
Excuse me,
Okay.
can I ask a question? I'm Darla Tracy, teacher of high school. I would like to know what your reasoning for saying that.
Ma'am, if you wouldn't mind
Oh,
coming to the
Yeah.
podium, please.
I'm Darla Dreesen. I teach art appreciation at the high school. I have for 6 years. And having worked with these people, I used to be part of their department at one time. I was just wondering, as I have been a witness, I guess, to the different things that have happened with ROP, I'm no longer in their department, but I just wondered what your reasonings were to stay with the program. If you could, the three of you could give us.
out.
Okay.
I was a member of that board for 2 years, and when our high school had issues with staffing and so forth, IVROP helped us staff those vacancies, because we had in one case we had a vacancy. Well, no, I can't even go into that. No, I can't answer it, but we did have issues, and we were able to take care of them. And regarding staffing, that was one.
At this point, though, they don't do that, do they? I don't think so. Because we've looked at credentials, through the State Department, et cetera, and the state doesn't accept them. The ROP through them. They're
They
not.
don't
The
give
state doesn't
credit.
recognize that credential.
No, they do. Well, what I'm saying, they were assisting our staff.
To get their credential.
Yes.
Well, ICOE does a real good job of that, too.
Yeah.
Well, I do remember that issue. I do. Yes, it happened. Okay, so, but, again, you are of your opinion, and I guess we are of our opinion, and you have the right to voice your opinion as well, so.
Okay. So Mr. Alvarado and Mr. Castillo, do you have
Yeah.
comments?
I'll give a brief comment. So I've known, and I don't want to say work directly with ROP, but I've known ROP, I know their services for the last 25 years. Different services offered here at the high school, other high schools in the county. It was said earlier, yeah, times have changed. I know that. I realize that. Services have changed, administration's changed, but services in the past that I'm familiar with have been good. I hear what the teachers are saying, and I respect what you're saying, okay? But I hear it. What I'm looking at is, I'm willing to try it for a year to see what services are provided. If it's helping, making a difference, let's hold them accountable. And if it's not working, we can cut it.
From what I know, from 2013 on, they haven't done anything to speak of. And I remember when I first came here, yes, they did. They monetarily did help out. But after 2013, it went the other way. I'm sorry, sir, go ahead.
Just, I don't want to sound like a broken record here, but I am an IVROP product. I really believe in IVROP that they can provide something for our students, for our teachers also as well. I've spoken with Mr. Camilo out at one of the events that they had, took the students down there, and just interaction, different things that they could learn from. I went to law enforcement also as well, expecting Mr. Davis to be there. He wasn't there. It was a law enforcement festival that they had. And that's why I was just, it was just a competition.
Okay.
The competition.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that as well. Okay, but right now, we can go back and forth.
Yeah.
That's one thing. We can question everything that's going on and
Yeah.
stuff like that, you know? Why?
Mr. Davies.
I respected you guys talking. I'm not disrespecting you guys. You guys know I'll try to help you out, back you out 100%. I just want to give them a chance. I believe in this program. They helped me to where I'm at right now. All right? I had a law enforcement teacher, Mr. Polite. I still remember him. He was an example for me, and that's where I'm at right now. I hope that you're an example for your students also as well, Mr.
Ask
Davis.
them all, sir.
Exactly. You know? And that's the thing, but with respect, we could get a long way. A long way. The
Cooperation.
thing is that there's no reason, like, we could keep on going back and forth now. I could give you reasons why. They're not gonna be perfect for them at all, right? Because the decision was already made. My thing is just going out and giving them that opportunity for the year. If they don't come through, then you know what? We're pulling the plug. It's that simple.
You know, I've
Okay.
watched these people,
Well-
and they do a great deal of really good things. Yes.
It was in 2013. I just got on the board right
Yeah,
now, so that's
I
why
realize
can't
that.
speak back then, you know, what happened back then, but I'm just, for right now, if they can't provide the services after this year, then they're gonna pull the plug.
In their defense, these people wouldn't do this they wouldn't do it lightly. I mean, they did some serious thought, and they did a lot of research into what was the better way to go for our students. And so I'm here to support them this evening, and although I live in Yuma and I'll
Appreciate it.
get home really late, I would stay for this part because I truly believe in them. So, thank you for your time.
Okay, the motion was on the floor to approve them for 1 year with stipulations, of course. And it was second by Alvarado. All those in favor, please state aye. Aye.
No.
Mr. Calderon?
No.
No. Motion approved. Those in favor are Castillo, Alvarado, Calderon Jr., and those against it is Calderon and Romero. M19, Memorandum of Understanding between Calexico Unified School District and Superhero for on-site training for Summer Technology Academy and additional participating teachers.
What is this?
I motion to approve. Second by Castillo. All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item passes. In favor, Romero, Calderon, Castillo, Alvarado, Calderon Jr. M20, first reading of revised board policy 7214, general obligation bond.
So moved.
Moved by Romero, second by Alvarado. All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item passes. In favor, Romero, Calderon, Castillo, Alvarado, Calderon Jr. M21, adoption of school facilities need analyst resolution, living fees prepared by Jack Slater and Associate Inc. And this is, can someone give us information on this?
So it's going up.
Good evening, trustees. What you have before you is the finalized product of the school fees that the district can charge for when it comes to development and to help support or mitigate the impacts of developments that come in the area. What you have on the item, it tells what our current rates are and what the new adopted rates are going to be based on a fee study of development in the city of Calexico. And if you have builders that come to the community, the district currently charges level 2, and we will continue to charge level 2 at the new rate of $479 per square foot versus what the current rate is $560. And again, this is an analysis that's based on growth and development here in Calexico. We had the public hearing back in, the public hearing for this document back on our last board meeting where there was no comment or no input, but this is the finalized report that's the board authorized us to move forward on last year.
You know, so the rate went down?
It did.
How's that possible?
Based on and this report took us like a year and a half to get, based on development and just having a hard time with some of the issues at the city and with the planned development for building in our area. I believe all of those have effects on this. So it did go down, and it's unfortunate, but the rate did go down, and it's based on analysis of what the proposed building and development is for the city of Calexico.
I know if we construct any building, the costs have gone up.
Mm-hmm.
But now the fee to
charge
fund it
and to mitigate the
has gone down.
Correct. Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Any other question?
Is that a trend, or is it just us? Is it just because it's Calexico?
I cannot necessarily answer that. All I can speak on is that this was the analysis done here for our area. So I'm not sure a trend if it's in LA County, if it's in San Diego County, or if it's affecting other districts in our county.
So
that I don't know.
These people,
Jack Schrader, yes.
Oh.
This is and again, it took a long time for us to get this report. I think the board approved this almost a year and a half ago, and we've been struggling to get all of the information based on plans for development for the city of Calexico. That was really a big part of the holdup in getting this report done.
Thank you. Any other question?
I move that we approve this resolution.
Moved by Romero, second by Calderon Jr. All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item passes.
Isn't it a voice? Resolution's voice.
So it's a roll call.
Aye.
Romero, Calderon.
Aye.
Castillo, Alvarado, Calderon Jr. Aye. Motion. Item passes.
Thank you, City Council.
M22, awarding bid number 2017-02, Calexico School Sports Field Lighting and Site Improvements.
Good evening, trustees. So this item was tabled at our last board meeting in regards to questions regarding the funding sources. At our last meeting, we were just made aware of some ERP dollars that had become available. We had talked about in the bid, we weren't sure if we were going to be able to support buying or the football lights in addition to the baseball lights. So there was just some conversation and then some clarification that needed to happen regarding the funding source. So what I've done is I've clarified that since it was my understanding that the direction of the board was to go with the baseball lights as well as the football lights, and in doing so, it would change who the bid was awarded to. Because at the last meeting, there was a base bid award and there was an alt add 2 award, which were to 2 different companies. However, since we were able to get some additional funding and figure that out and know that we're gonna move forward with both the base and the alternate add two, then it made more sense and it was more cost effective by about $120,000 to award the total bid for base bid and alt add two to Oakview Construction. Okay, in addition to what the funding sources were, based on both the base bid and the alt add two, the total project cost would be a little over $2.3 million, with the funding sources as follows. For ERP funds, a little over $1.325 million. The Verizon Wireless, approximately $171,000, and that's for one light at this time. We're still negotiating for the second light, which would be double $171,000. T-Mobile is going to pay for two lights, which is approximately $375,830, and the rest would be written into the general fund LCAP for the 17-18 school year.
That's almost $500,000.
Correct.
The softball field, what softball field is it?
The one right next to.
The girls?
Is that one being used at night?
Currently, no. They have Emerson Field.
Yeah.
That they
So why are you gonna put lights on this softball field if it's not being used at night?
No, no.
The baseball field, we'll put them on the baseball field.
Baseball.
Softball, I'm asking because it says alternate add one.
So we're not doing alternate add one, we're only approving the base bid and alt add two, which is the football lights.
So it's the baseball
Baseball
lights
field,
only?
8 lights,
And
and then the
football.
football lights, football field with 4 lights.
And that's because we need to change the lighting in the football field for the tower, correct?
Correct,
Because the lights are still operable, correct?
correct. And there's ERP dollars that it's written that way, that's how we have
To
to
cover
spend, correct, for the lighting.
And you're still negotiating with Verizon or with?
We're trying to get a second light pole, which would then reduce the district's contribution of the $438,000 by approximately $171,000.
Oh,
So what's the total, Ms.?
The total
Randall?
project is $2,310,440.
I move that we approve.
Motion by Romero, second by Calderon Junior.
Hold on. The total
For the project,
for the base bid
For
and
the-
the alt.
And two.
correct,
Alt
is $2,310,440.
And you said the total was how much?
For.
No, that's the total.
That's the total.
The $2,310,440.
For both.
If you add so they're broken up here on the motion, on the recommended motion for Oakview.
There's actually a spreadsheet also that was on it that has the total.
So it's going to 2 construction companies?
Pardon?
That- Is it 2 construction companies?
No, this
or
is
just
all
one?
going,
Or
it's
just
all
one?
being awarded to Oakview. Excuse me,
Oakview?
Yeah, Oakview Construction.
And how is it looking with Verizon? Getting that second?
Hopefully promising. We're doing our very best. They asked for a number, so we gave them a number.
Oh, okay.
So they're trying to negotiate with us, so we gave them the number for 2 lights.
Real quick, so these numbers that we have right here from Sanders, and these are the numbers that I'm looking at.
Correct. So those are the numbers that are there, plus then all of the soft costs that go along with that, which is the 18%, which is on your item here. So if you look at the first one for base bid, it's $1,274,000, and then you multiply that by the 18% for all of the soft costs, which are your DSA, your inspector, and all of those things. Okay, so then it makes the total of a little over 1.5 million. Okay, so
So-
for a grand total of the 2.3 million.
So in case that those negotiations with Verizon don't go through and they just put one,
Correct.
then we have to fork out 438,000.
That is correct.
How is that gonna put us in a
General
bind?
fund?
Have we budgeted
So
for that?
we're still working on the LCAP, and we are still working on the budget for 17-18, so we'll be able to see how it falls out in the end.
So that means they would cut other programs, correct?
Hopefully not. There's some gap funding increases there, so hopefully not. We're still working on the budget, and we're hoping that it won't. Or it's a part of our LCAP. We have facilities, and facilities needs to be addressed. This is a facility need. In addition to, we have ERP money that has to be spent exactly this way on lights, and that it's
The
restricted
only thing-
dollars that have to be spent that way.
I'd like to request a project schedule for this project.
Okay,
I
we
mean,
can do
that's,
that.
If you can give us one, I'd appreciate it.
Absolutely, we can
All
put a
right.
timeline together.
Well, the motion is to approve, it was Romero, that motion, and then Calderon. All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item is approved by Romero, Calderon, Castillo, Alvarado, and Calderon Jr. Calderon. M23, quarterly report of Williams and Uniform Complaint, April 30th, 2017. We had none, correct? There was none. Motion by Castillo, second by Alvarado. All those in favor, please state aye. 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 Item passes in favor of Romero, Calderon, Castillo, Alvarado, and Calderon Jr. M24, resolution regarding disposition of surplus asset, non-asset office furniture from Food Services Department. Motion to approve, second by Calderon. All those in favor, please state aye. 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 I did. And second by Calderon. And those in favor are Romero, Calderon, Castillo, Alvarado, and Calderon Jr. M25, approval and authorization of incorporate the International Academy of Science, AXELAS, UC, SCU, approved courses into the course log offered at Aurora High School, Calexico High School, Williams Moreno Junior High, and Enrique Junior High.
I'll move to approve.
Motion by Calderon, second by Alvarado. All those in favor, please state aye. 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 Item passes in favor, Romero, Calderon, Castillo, Alvarado, and Calderon Jr. M26, approval of the Agriculture Career Technical Education Incentive Grant for 2017-2018 school year.
I'll move to approve.
Moved by Calderon, second by Calderon Jr. All those in favor, please state aye. Aye. Item passes in favor, Romero, Calderon, Castillo, Alvarado, and Calderon Jr. M27, approval of 2017-18 school calendar.
Maria, any changes? Or who negotiated this? You or Carlos?
This was Mr. Gonzalez with the negotiating team.
In regards to the calendar, we do negotiate this with ACT due to the instructional days, start, finish, and in regards to the professional development days, the holidays, the back-to-school open house dates. So it is negotiated at the bottom. You do see signatures from ACT.
Any drastic changes?
No, none. None whatsoever. Yeah, I think the only changes that were reported is when it comes to the back to school. It was moved earlier, a week ahead.
Does it mirror any other county calendars?
It does mirror other calendars throughout the county.
I'll move to approve if there's no more
Moved
questions.
by Calderon, second by Alvarado. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item is approved by Romero, Calderon, Castillo, Alvarado, and Calderon Jr. M28, approval of Kindergarten State Preschool 2016-17 program self-evaluation. Can someone give us, see what this is?
So good evening, members of the board. Every year, the state preschool has specific mandates, very different from what we have at kinder through 12th grade. And we have different measures that need to be taken care of at the preschool. So twice a year, we have two different types of measures that need to be done. One in the fall, another in the spring. And this has to do with the developmental measures of how the students are developing in different areas. So the teachers are evaluating students. So they measure that in the fall, they measure in the spring. And then we do a environmental rating scales, which is an evaluation of the environment. And this is done with teachers and parents. And we do an all-day evaluation. We're looking at the facilities, we're looking at the grounds, at the equipment, at the textbooks, at the furniture, everything that has to do with the learning environment. We do a report, look at, collect the data, analyze the data, and then do a program improvement, self-evaluation. Then we do a parent survey where the parents provide input as to how they feel the program is servicing them and their children. And then we take that information also to do an improvement in terms of what are the areas that the parents need. And then we complete this comprehensive evaluation that we need to submit to the state by June 1st.
Do
Any
you have a
questions?
lot of parents show up to these meetings or to these
Every month we have meetings with the parents, but it's really hard to get the parents to participate in these kinds of well, the ECHRs, the one that with the walkthroughs. This year we did have trouble getting the parents to participate, but at least 2 parents participated in the walkthrough because they have to spend an all-day parents for the morning sessions, and then we need to get another group for the afternoon session. And they have to be with us every day from the morning, because we're looking at the way the kids come in, how they're washing their hands, if they're spending 20 seconds, rubbing their hands, to where they're eating, are their feet on the floor, and detailed information that we need to be. And so it's an all day, and for many parents, this becomes a challenge.
So you got a plan for the DRDP and ECHRs and?
Pardon me?
You have a plan here for DRDP and ECHRs?
Yeah, and that's what, when we met with the staff and we analyzed the data, that's what we came up with as the areas of highest needs.
We'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Castillo, second by Calderon. All those in favor, please state aye. Thank you, Ms. Flores.
Thank you.
Thank you. Everybody, Romero, aye?
Yes.
Item passes in favor, Romero, Calderon, Castillo, Alvarado, and Calderon Jr. M29, Certificated Employment Report. I motion to approve.
Second.
Second by Calderon. All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item passes in favor, Romero, Calderon, Castillo, Alvarado, Calderon Jr. M30, Classified Employment Report. I motion to approve.
What did we need to change?
Oh, you got to change?
Yeah, trustees, there's one change on the summer school clerks, the start date to be 6/16
16,
as opposed to 6/19.
I'll move to approve with that change.
Okay, Calderon, second by Alvarado. All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Item approved by Romero, Calderon, Castillo, Alvarado, and Calderon Jr. And reconvene to earlier closed session. We're good, so we're not going back. Huh? No, I don't think, we didn't have anything pending. Do we have anything pending? No? So we're not going.
What? Do we? Oh.
But we don't have to. Okay. Reconvene to open session. P, announcement of any action taken, none. And do we have a motion to close this meeting?
So moved.
Second by Calderon. All those in favor, please state aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes majority. Good evening, everyone, and we'll see you next week. Right? Was it 2 weeks?